Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Shadowverse Open 2025 Kickoff Finals, the first international tournament streamed for Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. I'm your host, Ignitius, and with me today is my co-host, Different Fight, otherwise known as Chris. Brother, how you doing? How you feeling going into today?
It's been a long time. For those of you that have been playing Shadowverse since the previous version, welcome back. And for those of you that are joining for your first ever SVO, welcome to the world of the Shadowverse Open. My name is Chris, and today we are going to be bringing you the very first inaugural Shadowverse Open for Worlds Beyond. The first English community tournament streamed here for all of you to watch and see these players duke it out for amazing prizes. I think I couldn't be happier to be here, man. It's such an honor. It's a pleasure, and I'm glad I can be doing it with you, man.
Of course, yeah, and it's been a long time coming. I mean, since SVO wrapped up for the Shadowverse Classic game, now in a brand new, all different, very, very well-polished new client, new game. And, you know, the blow-up has been insane, too, because the amount of new players coming into the scene and therefore the amount of new players in Shadowverse Open has been crazy. Like, we got thousands of signups in the preliminaries, but all of that has narrowed down to these top 7 players here today. Kind of crazy, the level of competition they had to get through just to get into today. Let's talk about the format that they're facing right here on the finals. Let's take a look. So the format will have an actual graphic here to explain it as well. It is best of 3, 2 decks, 0 ban, single elimination. Meaning you bring a lineup of 2 decks and you have to win with both your decks to progress to the next round. If you lose a round, you are out of the tournament. So pretty cutthroat, very competitive. Not only does the execution of the decks matter, the choice of the decks matter, and even lineup strategy matters. Everything is going to be put to the test on today's tournament here today.
Absolutely. It's like the decks that you bring, of course, have been vital both throughout like all stages of the tournament, and it's also like having to adapt from going into the 2 deck 0 ban format with best of 3, you know, having to win with both decks again, just one trick your way. And you know, these players, they've played through, as you said, multiple stages to get here all the way to the finals, and now that they're here, this is when the pricing starts to get crazy, because the kickoff tournament in particular is really special because the pricing actually leads all the way to the World Grand Prix. So I think we actually have a slide breaking down the pricing for you guys. And I mean, just for showing up, right? All 8 players, just for showing up here, they win 250 USD, and every player that just shows their webcam during a stream game gets an extra $100 on top of that as well. And then if you win just one of your top 8 matches, that pricing goes up to $450. And if you win there and make it to the finals, the least you're going away with is in second place with 800 USD. And in first place, of course, the $1,500. But most importantly, the invite to the World Grand Prix that happens in Japan in December, where you get to fight for that 100 million yen prize, which is, I mean, this is literally, if you win today, this is one of the fastest paths in as early as possible in Worlds Beyond to get to the WGP.
Yeah, that's why this kickoff is so special, because the upcoming tournaments in the Shadowverse circuit, the qualifiers, they lead you to the Open finals, but this one goes straight to World Grand Prix. So inaugural tournament, we wanted to make it special, so if you win, you're going straight to the highest echelon of competition. So lots on the line for the players here today. I'm sure they've got to be shaking off their nerves before they get into the game. We also have additional prizes for the players as well. Let's take a look at the cosmetics they get in-game. Just for making it, they get this emblem, Shadowverse Open 2025, with the beautiful Forte. But if you get into the top 3, you get one of these flares, 3rd place, 2nd place, or champion. Exclusive flare just for this tournament. And imagine flexing up on ladder with one of these. You'll strike fear into the hearts of your opponents for sure.
Man, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's the fact that you get to, I mean, it's basically the fastest prizing rollout of Worlds Beyond so far, I think, out of all the tournament flares you can possibly get. So you get to match the ranks of the people that have been to the World Grand Prix, basically, in terms of how much you can flex, and that's pretty crazy. But I think, you know, we've been hyping up all of the prizing, we've hyped up the actual tournament, But let's take a look at the players that actually made it into today's tournament, because we have a really good mix of both legends of the past together with some of these new players as well. So Igni, why don't you break us down the top half of this bracket?
Sure. Well, before we get into it, I do want to cover one technicality here. This is meant to be a top 8, but unfortunately, one of the players was found to have violated tournament protocol, so their prizing will be forfeited to the 9th place player, and the player who was meant to be fighting them today, over there at the bottom there, Maxibon, is going to move straight to top 4. So just to clarify why there's only 7 players here today, in case people were confused. But as you said, Chris, at the very top of the bracket, we have a couple of legendary players. IEVRs21 versus Sonar 5 Azure Cloud. Now let me give you a breakdown here for the people who are new to the SVO story. IEVRs21, I believe, came 2nd place in 2020 June SVO SEAO. So a very long-running competitor in the scene, coming back after 5 years to show the new blood how it's done. Meanwhile, Azure Cloud, perhaps an even more storied past, winner of 2019 PAM Contenders Cup. So he's actually competed at World Grand Prix before, back in 2019. Now hungry once again for another shot at World Champion. Back, like, just seeing these two players from so long ago come back again, it's like watching a phoenix rise from the ashes, man. And I cannot be happier to see the old legends back here. Meanwhile, Eerie and Graa, names I don't particularly recognize. So we got, like you said, a good mix of old legends as well as new contenders. We'll see who comes out on top. Now, what about the bottom half of this bracket, Chris?
Yeah, so actually, it's quite interesting. We have Mystery, who I think to the two of us is also a mystery, a brand new player that, you know, we're looking to see them perform on stream today as well. Going to be going up against Itsuki Kaname, who is a content creator in the community. And so it's really cool to see. I mean, I think we were talking before this stream as well, how it's nice to see, you know, both. We've got like legendary players from SVO of seasons past. We've got new players. We also have content creators making it all into the top 8 qualifier here. And then, as you mentioned at the beginning, Maxibon 1, 2, 3, 4 is going to have a bye going into directly the top 4 due to the player misconduct that took place, unfortunately. And so they get to basically just watch the entire top 8 and see who rises up to play against them in the top 4. So it's going to be really, really exciting. But overall, I mean, just a really good mix of players and also a pretty interesting mix of decks as well. So I went and, you know, had a look at all the decks that we have in terms of today's spread. Of course, we're going to feature the deck lists as we go through each of the matches today, and we are going to be showing you all of the top 8 games, by the way. So you're going to get to see all the top 8 games, you're going to get to see the top 4 games, and the finals as well. So this isn't just like you get to see one top 8 and that's it. We're showing you everything. You get to see lots of Worlds Beyond action. It's going to be a good time.
I mean, every game matters. What, the minimum game is a $250 money match? So, right? Like, it's because it's top 8, 200, top 4, 250. So, yeah, the minimum is quite a chunk of change. That, you know, that's not an amount you can sneeze at. So, yeah, every single game is important here. And like you said, the lineup of list here is pretty interesting. What is that, like 4 roaches?
Yeah, we got 4 Roach Forests, we have 5 Spell Boost Runes, 4 mid-range swords. That's like the most represented decks. Don't forget that each player brings 2 decks, so that's distributed between the 2 decks that each player brings. And then we have 2 Abysses, 1 is aggro and 1 is mid-range. And then we have the 1 Ward Haven, but there's a very special thing about the Ward Haven because it's actually the 1 player that's gone undefeated, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Actually, I guess while we're waiting for the first match to progress, we can just go over the deck list now. Let's take a look at the deck list of the first round we are facing today. It is going to be Sonar 5 Azure Cloud versus IEVRs21. So for Sonar 5 Azure Cloud here, the 2 decks, kind of not a surprise here. Roach Forest Craft, if you guys didn't know, probably the most performant deck in tournaments across the, you know, competitive circuits of different regions. Just deadly in the hands of a skilled player. Very execution heavy though, so it's a hard deck to play for long periods of time, but the ceiling is insane. So what you do is just build up combo count to do an OTK or a 1-turn kill with that Rhinoceroach that gains power based on how much combo you do in a turn, and then you bounce it back and you play it again just to win the game in a single turn. Meanwhile, Spellboost Runecraft, also one of the top 3 decks for sure, alongside Midrange Sword and Roach Forest. Spellboost Runecraft, the way it works is that you reduce the cost or increase the efficacy of cards in your hand by playing spells or increasing spell boost, and then you go into a turn 10 lethal either with Kuon combo or Ruler of Kakaida's Dimension Climb, Astaroth's Reckoning. So both execution heavy combo based decks here from Azure Cloud. Let's take a look at RS21.
All right, so going RS21 has a very different lineup though. Got Wardhaven, he is the one Wardhaven player, and Mid-Range Abyss. So Wardhaven, of course, got really good with this new expansion thanks to Wilbert, giving you the crest that gives all of your ward followers +1 attack, +2 defense, and then you get to basically play a whole bunch of them with cards like Ether, Empyrean Guardian, and then you have some of that kind of like OTK potential, not OTK, but just game closing potential with the Ruler of Kokaitas, the Odin Twilight Fate, and then of course the mid-range list here is also putting in a lot of work with the new support it got from things like the Ginsetsu and Yuzuki, the Odin, and just being able to kind of like have a good matchup into quite a few decks because of its ability to clear and heal, and also have a lot of like damage burst potential. But I think it might be a little bit tough into that spell boost rune matchup, so I'm really curious to see which deck these players are going to be choosing as their first one.
All right, I think we're ready to go straight into the game. Once again, that is Sonar 5 Azure Cloud 2019 World Grand Prix competitor versus IEV Arts 21, who came second in 2020 June SVO SEAO. Two very storied competitors for our first round of the day here. I even see, you guys can't see this, but I'm looking at the matchup screen right now, and Azure Cloud has the PAM 2019 MVP Flair on his account at the moment, so that's definitely a scary one to face if you queue into him on ladder, right? All right, the players are currently choosing what deck they're going to queue first. I'm very excited to see.
It's like the fact that it's like it goes all the way back to PAM. I think for the new players tuning in, I think a lot of you watching this, you know, this might be the first SVO you're watching, but back in the day, you know, there was like different regions for the SVO, so you know, having that represented before it even was like West and SE and AO, it's definitely really cool to see. But we got our first game on our hands here. We have RS21 on the bottom side versus Azure Cloud on the top side, and it looks like Haven versus Rune is going to be that first matchup.
I think it's not super a surprise because you kind of, lampshaded this earlier, but Wardhaven has seen an uptick in usage in tournaments just because it has a great matchup into Roach Forestcraft, and Roach Forestcraft being the favorite of many competitive players, just putting up a wall of wards to block the Roach lethal. That's why Wardhaven is effective. But Azure Cloud, obviously knows that, so he's going to queue the rune first, try and get an easy win, and then he has 2 chances to break through Arts' lineup with Roach, right? That's the idea. And generally, Wardhaven craft, not so great into the Runecraft, although if Arts can set up a potential Kakaidas before Azure Cloud can, maybe he can turn the scales. And if anybody can do it, it's potentially Arts 21, who, like you said, went undefeated in playoff rounds, going 8-0 in playoffs. So if anybody can make this lineup work, it's him, right?
Yeah, and we gotta stress the fact that the playoff rounds are arguably the hardest too, right? So being able to go undefeated when you're the scale of difficulty just goes up and up and up throughout each of the games. So we see here a pretty good start for Azure Cloud, being able to just cycle the Earthrights pretty quickly in terms of good tempo. And now it comes down to if you want to just kind of keep drawing cards here to find some pieces, you don't really have the best turn 4 option in this hand. So it comes down to if they want to go for card draw with the homework or not.
I think with no turn 4, the homework time is probably safer. Let me take a look at the list, actually. So over on Azure Cloud side, the Spell Boost rune, with this list, I think definitely the hybrid is very much more popular because of the advent of Norman with the second set Infinity Evolved. But yeah, with no good turn 4, I think the homework time was the safer play. And we just go into the, Witch's New Brew to just cycle the cards a little bit, getting another Norman in hand. I was going to say maybe the Earthright count will matter, but not particularly in this version. I know some lists do run a 1 of Lalantham, but not this time, just focusing straight on the combo version. So I don't think the count matters as much. So yeah, just drawing through the deck is much more important here. And, you know, with the one Burgeon in hand as well, out of the two, like, you're setting up for a lot of boost over the next few turns.
Yeah, I mean, so far we're seeing good movements from Azure Cloud, but looking at ours side as well, I mean, the Wilbert was missing in action. I was going to point that out, but managed to pick that up this turn. So that makes it so big for next turn because he's been saving that extra play point that you get from going second. I mean, if you're a returning player and you haven't been playing Worlds Beyond, you know, there's definitely quite a little bit of catching up to do. But now you get a next turn Wilbert to play out, immediately get the crest effect. And what's also good is that next turn, I mean, the previous turn he had the Grimnir set up too, so that's going to be really big for just overall long-term board clear in this matchup too, especially if we do see the Burgeon come down here.
I will say, if ours chooses to do the extra play point into the Wilbert on turn 5, he unfortunately does not have the follow-up of extra play point into an Ether on turn 6 yet in hand.
True, yeah.
We'll have to see what this Bellringer draws. Can he get it off the top?
Wow!
All right! This is SVO, baby! This is what I remember.
It's still the SVO I know. Nothing's changed. New game.
And I mean, now this looks pretty simple, but, you know, maybe ours has a line that we don't see here. Nope, it's going to be extra play point into the Wilbert, and then I imagine extra play point Ether into Ether the next turn after that, too. It seems locked down, especially with the Kikaitis in hand. The win condition for ours here is within reach, right? Make a board of wards every turn that they can't pierce through. Kikaitis first. If they don't have Kikaitis, their Kuon's not dealing any damage to your board of boards. So it's really just, hopefully they don't have Kikaitis, and my Kikaitis wins the game first. And I think ours, the win condition is actually within sight right now as early as turn 5 here.
That's crazy to think about, but you're absolutely right. On the other hand, for Azure Cloud, did pick up the Kuon finally, so, I mean, he's kind of spoiled for good choices here. And in Graa is already, we had a second one in hand there as well. And then the triple Norman just really making a stance here as well. But the problem is that while you have good board clear, thanks to the William, although I do think the William was a bit of a late pickup, so it shouldn't be that boosted just yet, you are kind of lacking on fast ways to boost down the first dimension climb, because you're going to be either forced to commit the first. All right, looks like William is only on 3 here, huh? So it's like, if you commit this first one down, that will help to get the dimension climb down quite quickly. But then the problem is that you don't really have the strong, like, 10 play point follow-up Kuon after that. So you might want to actually use a lot of these onion patches together with the Anangrea to try to generate some of those spell boosts. But right now, I think what's really perplexing Azure Cloud is just taking care of this board. The Sage Light is pretty big for a pickup, though.
The thing is, like, once he clears this board, like, ours just does it again, right? And if you're being purely reactive here with none of your win con in sight, like, I think ours might have this with the Kikaitis. The problem is, Norman is a fantastic card, don't get me wrong, but with 3 Normans in hand like this, it does kind of clog Azure Cloud's potential plays, because he can't really use them for the draw 3 option here when he's, like, really lacking in diversity in hand, right? So I'm curious as to how he manages to clear not only this next turn, but the turn after that. Because remember, like, ours doesn't even have to play the Ether here because he has the Wilbert. And then the next turn he has Jean on top, like, to buff the Cavaliers that come out of Wilbert after that too. And then after that, it's just one more turn until the Kikaitis. So I don't know. I think this is kind of an awkward hand for Azure Cloud here, especially since none of the clears are that efficient, right? Like, if he sinks a William here, like, it's not taking care of the Holy Cavaliers off that last words right now either. That's the problem.
One thing that I feel like is really missing in action is also, like, Demonic Call. Like, Demonic Call would have given you that extra little ability to trade in that previous turn to prevent this, like, snowballing that we're seeing happening for ours right now. Whereas here for Azure Cloud, like, we're going to have to start answering this board somehow. The Onion Patches are doing a lot of work, but William, coming on down. Exact damage.
Again, this isn't a full clear, and he does have to... He has to sink a Super Evolve into this. It does boost the climb at least by 2, but now you're kind of... You want to save your Super Evolve for the turn 10 Kuon, right? But now that means these Normans are even more dead in hand.
Exactly. So It's like that's like the downside of Norman. I feel like where when it feels like it can be really good in very specific matchups where the heal is really big, or you need to just draw 3 real quick to burst down and like get some more resources. Or in certain matchups, the aura can be really big. But in other times, it's like this where it's just like, well, you're holding out to 3 and you're hoping the game gets long enough to the point that you can actually use it. Because right now it's looking a little suspect.
That's an interesting line of play from ours there. Was there a justification for potentially trading the Holy Cavalier first before playing the Ether to get an even bigger board up? You were going to clear with the Grimnir Super Evolve effect anyway. So that's something that...
That's true.
That would have thinned the deck a little more too. I'm not sure. Perhaps he valued the 2 face damage, because if you think about it, the Kakaidas in ours' list is often not going to be an OTK because he doesn't have Dimension Climb in his arsenal. So maybe ours valued that 2 damage to make Silent Rider have to do less work, or to make Demon of Purgatory have to do less work. So interesting line of play here, especially from, I would consider him at this point a specialist in Wardhaven, being the only one in this top level tournament to bring it.
Ooh.
So very interesting to pay attention to the lines ours is taking here.
I just want to talk about this turn for Azure Cloud here. Like, this Anna Gray is doing so much work. We managed to hit the looking smart into the right target here, managing to make it go down to just 2 followers. The problem is that now Azure Cloud is low on time. The climb is down to 0, but the only way to, even take care of 1 more follower is to evolve, and he does not want to be using that last super evolve here. Slight overdraw for ours, but ours continues to snowball, just get more and more ahead.
That overdraw actually does matter, right? Because if he had that Divine Shield, that Divine Guard rather, he wouldn't be forced to commit Jean here, depending on what it hit. But still, committing the Jean is fine, dealing massive amounts of damage to the enemy face. He doesn't have a way to kill out of hand with only the Kakaidas, right? So we'll see if this board sticks, but... Yeah, it would have to be Odin, or like if this board is able to stick, you would have lethal. But yeah, we'll see. It is quite a tall board, and with no William in, like it would have to be a climb into William here, I think, to full clear.
Yeah, so it's not even full lethal either. That's the kind of the problem. So, and thing is, drawing a William off of this
get the William.
Also, it's 12 as well.
That's massive! William plus Sage Light off the climb, letting him heal back to 6 and clear the board. And with a 10-10 on field that ours has to deal with, that might have been the one to save Azure Cloud right then and there.
This is so huge of a swing for Azure Cloud right now. You're basically just going to be sitting behind this and praying. He is going to charge in the 10-10 to the face and hope that ours doesn't have a way to clear it, but we all know that Haven players have one specific card in their arsenal that can take care of any board. The Unholy Vessel.
Force Unholy Vessel, but Azure Cloud now on top deck mode, but that climb is already boosted to 10. If Azure Cloud doesn't have a good hand next turn, he can just play Stormy Blast and play Climb immediately. So it's kind of tough for ours as well, setting up 2 3/7 wards. But depending on what is out of this climb, it's definitely Stormy Blast into Climb here. But what comes out the top?
Let's see it. The Kokaitis!
It's a little... it's not safe. He's not safe to land it. He has to play Utilize.
This will clear the board. Norman can also be used to heal up, which is very important.
Norman back to
the best
10.
Scenario.
Is the ward potentially better for the Norman, though? Thinking about it. Haven does not have any out-of-hand damage, especially not the list that ours is playing. We see no Falcon Amulet. Yeah, no out-of-hand damage. So, except for Odin. But Odin is not lethal from this range. I think the ward might technically be better, but Odin would not be lethal from this range anyway.
Yeah, the issue is that if you're gonna go wide on a board, you do risk.
It has to be Guardian Golem.
Yep, they're gonna go.
I think Guardian Golem is the best play. Force second Unholy Vessel. If the Odin comes out to banish the barrier, it leaves Norman up. But here we come with Thunder plus Salefa, leaving the 3/3 up.
Well, this is a big tempo swing for Azure Cloud. I think Ours is answering the board really well, but what's really important right now for Azure Cloud is to not give Ours a chance to play the ruler of Cocytus. That's literally the only thing keeping Azure Cloud in this game right now, because that would basically spell the end. And so far, Azure Cloud is just going to cycle through the deck this turn, see what they can find. Count to 11 cards.
That's not quite it, though, is it?
Ooh, that's
he does get the Sage Light, option. Being able to... I think he might have to use the clear option. Otherwise, because if you think about it, if he doesn't clear the Selefa, if ours top decks Odin, it was lethal. So this clear had to happen there. Oh, this is looking a little dicey for ours now.
What a big comeback for Azure Cloud. I mean, this is why he's been at the top of his game for so long. And being able to make these comebacks is definitely part of that skill as a Shadowverse player, not give up, even in the situations where it looks so dire. But ours here, yeah, you're down to 5 defense at this point.
That dimension climb was absolutely massive from Azure Cloud there, but he's just going to make a full board of wards. Try and not let anything come through. Another Kuon off the top for Azure Cloud, but no clear way to clear Ours' board right now.
Yeah, this is a little bit tricky because right now you're essentially... You could get the demonic call here down to 0 with the Kuon, but you'd have to be trading in things first before that. So the issue is that...
I think Norman has to go for draw, right? Is that the only out?
But even if you do draw, this list does not necessarily have too many options. I mean, we've gone through all 3 Greas. He only plays 2 William in the list, and that's not even going to be an option this turn either. There's only 1 Edelweiss, too.
That's right, only 1 Edelweiss. Sage Light wouldn't... Sage Light wouldn't clear...
I think there's only 1 Sage Lights left, if even, right?
Yeah, that's true.
We're running out of time. Azure Cloud's got to think. And he
has to make a decision. Cocytus isn't safe. It has to be. Yeah, it has to go Norman into barrier to stave the bleeding. If Arms is able to get the Odin, this game is wrapped.
Unholy Vessel.
Wait, it's wrapped anyway, right? Divine Thunder takes out Norman. Trade a 2. Yep. Yeah, that's lethal.
There it is. This is game 1 coming in for ours as he sees the damage and manages to take it after what was a very, very close potential comeback from Azure Cloud for this first game 1, the inaugural first game of SVO Worlds Beyond.
Man, a game of that quality is why you tune into Shadowverse Open. What a close match. Like, ours had the control since the beginning, but Azure Cloud with that clutch dimension climb almost brought it back, and both players making it incredibly awkward for the other player to find an opportunity to play Cocytus. You notice the Selefa play, not being able to be cleared by Onion plus Guardian Golem, forcing Azure Cloud to spend the Sage Light teachings for clear there so he couldn't heal. Just a masterclass on both players in terms of the execution. Ours knows every out Azure Cloud has, clearly, and that outcome is not what Azure Cloud wanted, right? Because Roach has the worst time against the lineup ours is bringing. Ward Haven Craft, mid-range Abyss Craft, maybe a little bit dicey, but there's still a lot of wards that potentially can come out of there with the Yuzuki Gensatsu, One-Tailed Foxes, right? So very, very tricky. I think Azure Cloud definitely wanted to take the dub with Rune immediately and then queue the Roach for 2 chances, but now he's forced into the position where he has to get both Rune and Roach past a deck that can make an entire board of wards, and that's obviously not the position Azure Cloud wants to be in. Ours, with that win in Wardhaven, might have sealed the fate of the entire first round.
No, you're 100% right. I think that was such a big first win for ours. And I think now I'm really curious to see how this second list does work out. We didn't really get to talk about it too much, but overall, Mid-Range Abyss has been popping up quite a lot, and I feel like its rating has also been going kind of like up and down throughout the weeks of the Infinity Evolve format as well. We do see this opening hand a little bit on the heavy side, and that's not what you want to see when you're going up against Forest, which can definitely just rush you down if the early curve is strong.
Yeah, we're not even seeing the Carbuncle used as a combo piece here. Azure Cloud's like, I'm just going to play guys and hit you in the dome before you get all your healing and mid-range tools out of there, right? Like, if you think about the power turns for mid-range Abyss, turn 5 Charon or Aragavi, you got the turn 8 Cerberus, turn 9 Ginyuzu. They're all pretty late. If you can't make it to that time in the game, mid-range Abyss can just get run over. Let's see if Azure Cloud can capitalize on that weakness.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see also just how this deck is going to work out. Of course, there's some interesting text that one of Limaga has been picking up lately, and so seeing, of course, Azure Cloud bring that as well is very interesting. But now, yeah, chip damage coming through, board clear coming through. Azure Cloud so far doing good, but we're not seeing really like the late game potential in this hand. We have a lot of board clear, but there's no draw power. You know, we're missing the Godwood Staff, we're missing the Garden's Allure. We got to draw into something here.
That is not what he was looking for. Another baby. No draw power still.
Baby.
I feel like the power of Rhinoceros decreases dramatically if you cannot find your Godwood Staff in time, because having that Godwood Staff early gives you draw power for the entire match. And when you don't have it, you get stuck with hands like this. It's freaking Weenie Hut Jr., you know? And no way to seal the game from here. So Azure Cloud is just trying to think, how do I... And if you think about the strength of mid-range Abyss here, one card can deal with many, many threats. Meanwhile, over on Azure Cloud side with no draw power, he has to spend multiple cards to deal with one of Ars's threats. So with this hand quality, I think it's looking pretty good for Ars right now.
When the Haragavi picked up, I mean, speaking of ways to deal with boards, he's basically the MVP, especially in the sword matchup, which we're going to see a lot of today.
I think it's necessary in the sword matchup. If you don't draw Aragavi, you lose.
100%.
Now, no 0-drop destroyed, no 2-drop destroyed, I believe, right? So the Charon actually doesn't do anything, so we're going to have to see the Grady probably as the only play. Another option, technically, is Shadow Crypt Memorial. Pop it just to take out 2 threats, and then sit. But I think the Gravy is the safer
really
option
worth
here.
it, though. You want to combine it usually, especially now that you have Cerberus locked down for later turns.
One interesting factor in this matchup as well that we didn't mention yet is that with the addition of Titania Queen of Fairies to Forestcraft's arsenal, you can actually transform an Abyss Crafts card into a 1-cost fairy to pollute the Cerberus Reanimate pool, which I think is a really cool interaction.
Let's see if we...
Bale picked up is not what Azure Cloud wanted either, though!
Not right there. It feels a little bit... I mean, it's better to pick it up at this point where you can just ram 3 fairies in here, and that will eventually bring down the Bale, but it's not the draw power. What we need more than anything is the draw power here. And
I don't think he can afford to ram 3 fairies in here. I think he has to play Ambush, because if he rams those 3 fairies, he has literally nothing to do next turn, right? So I don't think there was like no option for Azure Cloud there. This is looking really good for Ars. Azure Cloud's hand is very awkward. When you don't get the draw power in Roach, you end up with a situation like this. All of the enablers, none of the payoffs, and none of the gas. There's the Godwood Staff off the top!
It took its time, Chris?
Whenever I say anything, it gets immediately disproven within the next 2 seconds.
All right. It's again, this is SBO. All you gotta do is just wait for the cast to stay the line, and then the game just kicks in.
Now, I think we might just see an ambush here and then sit. That would already be combo 3 for the draw, saving 1 fairy in the back for the turn 7 power play. Turn 7 for mid-range Abyss is usually Odin. We don't see it in hand here. There is a consideration, if you do not present threat, that Odin can actually banish Godwood Staff, so you have to be careful.
Oh, that's so true. Yeah, you do have to watch out for that, as it is just a pretty common part of the arsenal. And of course, this is, you know, the players do know each other's deck lists as well, so it's going to be pretty interesting. The Charon to build a crest doesn't really do too much right here either, because we don't really have the best reanimate targets just yet.
No, you only get Vuela, and you can't capitalize on that Vuela because there's no out-of-hand damage. Like, if you had an Odin in hand, then the Vuela could make an Odin buffed out of hand, but at this point, not much to do. But there's no Odin in Ars' hand, meaning there is no punish for leaving this Godwood staff up. This is looking pretty nice for ours here. I mean, for Azure Cloud. With no punish on that Godwood, it's living another turn, and this entire board can basically be taken out with the tools in hand right now with the Lily.
Yeah,
Second Godwood, let's
MVP.
Massive pickup, because this is now an almost full clear. It is a full clear if
all
you
need is like,
right?
Yeah, all you need is like one Roach now to be picked up, and then these double Godwoods are going to be doing so much work and being able to bounce. And then, of course, I mean, at this point, this 2-draw needs to find you one of the Roaches. We are going to be getting down to 25 cards left in deck. We're approaching the halfway point here for Azure Cloud.
We're approaching?
Uh-oh.
We're approaching?
Hold up.
That's SVO, baby. Yeah, but yeah, he had to super here, otherwise it wasn't a full clear, and any damage left up is damage that Cerberus can capitalize on. That being said, ours has not pushed any face damage this game, so even if he does pop Shadow Crypt into Cerberus here, it is not winning the game by any means. I still think it's the best play, though.
Yep. And at least you can capitalize off the Cerberus before the risk of having your one-drop pool get polluted. So that's at least something that's good.
But that being said, the pull will still be random if he double trades here to make room for the reanimate. Oh, he's actually trading only Coco to heal an additional 2. I think that's pretty smart. Generally, getting to 19 is about the safe spot unless they're a turn, unless they have a reasonable amount of 0 cost. So, yeah, going just for the healing, foregoing the additional reanimate.
Yeah, I do like that as well. I think it's a good kind of like safety play in general. The only issue with double Godwood staff, it is even 19 doesn't feel too safe.
But if you think about it, on ours' point of view, he doesn't know that there's no Roach in Azure Cloud's hand. He's assuming worst case scenario. All he has to do is survive this turn. Then next turn, Gin Yuzu for 4 wards. Then Gin Yuzu for 4 wards and win the game. Right? That's the only. That's the way he's gonna win this game. Because Gin Yuzu making 4 one-tailed foxes all with ward forces. No, because they're 3 defense, so they're out of range of ambush from above as well. So there's no way to clear that. So I think if ours can lock down a Gin Yuzu board twice, there's actually no way for Azure Cloud to win this.
Yeah, and we're gonna see Azure Cloud's gonna have to cash in one of these bales here. The maze
no Roach in hand still. He's forced to spend the maze now, though, right? Unless he just evolves Bale.
Yep. Yeah, I was wondering if that would be the case, but no, he's actually gonna just go ahead and use both of the maze. Yep, looks like that's where we're cashing it in. Okay,
this is the world's most satisfying Gin Yuzu right now, right? Gin Yuzu for 4 wards, super evolve, kill the Bale, trade twice.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And they the fact that they survive is the craziest part. So the big value board on.
I mean, you're seeing 2 maze out means that the Force has way less tools to deal with the Gin Yuzu too, right? Like if this Gin Yuzu sticks at all, I feel like ours just has this in the bag. Let's see where he goes from here, though.
Yeah, it's the fact that I think ours is trying to judge what the hand might be based on the fact that neither of these maze was bounced, and so he's still trying to dig. So if he's still prioritizing digging over bouncing his damage tools, that probably means that he's missing a core component, such as the Roach. So yeah, I think that ours, he might be using that information to his advantage here to try to think out the play, but I think it doesn't really change that the Gin Yuzuki is going to be the optimal choice here, I think. There's no other way to really bring out...
Because if you super evolve the Gin Yuzu as well, it plays against Bale. Oh, he's going to have super evolved the Fox! Interesting. Okay.
The 6 defense is quite tricky, though, no?
Yeah, that's really strong. I don't think anything clears this. And remember that Grimnir doing work as well, not even having to commit any of the rushes. All right, this Garden's Lure is going to have to do a lot of work. Let's see what it pulls.
Debating on the fuse target. I do think the Deepwood Bounty is too... it's one of the only ways to have a 0 cost.
Oh, but... he fused it! No Roach, but we do see Limaga. Limaga's pretty big. It can lock down the 5/6 and the 5/9.
And
while getting chip.
Potentially use on this.
Yeah, and then you just super evolve this, target those 2. trade into the 5-6. Yep. So Limaga is very strong in that it sort of stalls the game into a more inevitable win con for you. Like, locking up 2 spaces on Ars's board here means that he doesn't have like flexibility in order to deal with this, but also it means that there's like less proactive plays Ars can do, meaning that Azure Cloud has chances to draw into Roach. But unfortunately, with Garden's Allure into Limaga, he did not reach 3 cards played. If he fused Bug Alert instead and then played Deepwood Memory, he would have reached 3 cards played and dug 2 more cards. I think fusing that Deepwood Memory might have been a mistake.
Yeah, I feel like the 0 cost is like, it's so rare in current Shadowverse that it's usually going to be the priority for this deck. And as you said, like, you basically shut down being able to dig into 2 more cards, and being able to dig into those 2 more cards, if you find the right Rhinoceros Roach, I mean, it's kind of tough because the Baby Carbuncle is also not doing as much because the Super Evolve is no longer available now. So
that's true. Yeah, could have taken out the Baby Carbuncle instead. Yeah. I don't disagree with that. Going for Gin Yuzu into Destroy effect there to heal 4 back to 20, going back down to 18 with the Limaga effect. Can Azure Cloud clear this? He does have the Bale and the Lily. I think it's actually possible.
Yeah, this is going to get discounted quite a bit. The Lily's going to be eating up the last Evolve point here. Baby Carbuncle. Baby boy,
but I will say,
up a lot. Appreciate you.
Unfortunate for Azure Cloud as well. 17 cards left in deck, no Roaches.
That's actually crazy. Like, this is every time you hear from Roach players, you know, why they stop using the deck and ladder. It's always just like, I had one of those games, man. It's like,
that was really an ideal hit, though. That Bug Alert was an ideal hit. Now you can just play Lily and Fairy again without having to sink Bale.
This is a huge board clear. Also gonna be able to get the 2 draw this turn. Very important. To hopefully, finally... Oh,
Roach bottom 15, all 3.
How is this possible?
That being said, Ars's turn is kind of weak. He has a little bit, right? Yeah, he has Undead Soldier into double Soiree. That makes a full board of 2 skeletons plus, zombies that are hard to get rid of. Also adding 2 ghosts in hand for a potential next turn Ghost into Rage of Serpents.
Rage of Serpents would do it.
Yeah. I think second Soiree is... actually, playing Fildau instead, if it sticks, is more damage, but I don't know. This is still a little tricky. Yeah, I don't know how Azure Cloud clears the zombies, though. Like, if any of those zombies stick, Ghost plus Rage of Serpents is lethal next turn, right?
Exactly. It's the fact that he has 2 ghosts that can run down. It's like you have 5 damage at any point in time, so anything that can deal 2 damage sticking on this board is basically lethal.
And there's no healing in Azure Cloud's hand. Also, I will say, Glade was also bottom 16 that game for Azure Cloud, all 3. Pretty tough stuff.
Yeah, that's another big one. This Lily is going to help to take out the 3/3, but Bale's going to do that instead.
Bale. I mean, we have to sink Bale. Like, there's no choice. Fairy, come out. Oh, that's tough.
To burn that just for board space to make the Fairy to trade into the Fildau, and then it's going to be Bale, and you're going to have a 2/2 left on the board.
You still can't clear all of this.
Wow. Bottom 12. Are you serious?
Bottom 12, all 3 Roaches. Bottom 10, all 3 Roaches. And Cerberus off the top with a Ghost. Oh, this is just 5 million ways to die here. Ars going undefeated, carrying on from playoffs. 9-0 record from playoffs till now. Insanity, taking down Azure Cloud, one of the strongest players from the 2019 season. Just a masterclass. That Wardhaven game was incredible, and then like once that was locked down, that Abyss really capitalized on its strengths as well. It is unfortunate for Azure Cloud. That Roach game was incredibly unfortunate, but That being said, ours brought an unconventional lineup, and it paid off.
Yep. I mean, ours is basically targeting the entire meta right now, and so far it's working out. Managed to make it into the top 4. All you need is one more win, and you're going to be going all the way into the finals. And that was a very dominant 2-0 showing. For Azure Cloud, though, I mean, this is still... We have to really just highlight the fact that any player that makes it to the top 8, any player that makes it to this final bracket is one of the best. It's without a doubt.
Already.
And Azure Cloud,
yeah,
he's been a legend throughout the base Shadowverse, right? Tops time and time again, so many accolades. Like throughout my time where I commentated in the West Circuit was basically just like getting dubs left and right as well. And being able to see him come back into the top 8, even if the games didn't go so well, is still a really huge first step. And I think we're going to see Azure Cloud back in these top 8s in the next SVOs that we have in the coming months, because honestly, like, being able to just start off at top 8 is already very strong. So while ours is taking that step into top 4, I think for Azure Cloud, this is a really good first SVO to start on.
Oh, yeah, and I really do hope we see him again in the qualifiers in the weeks ahead, because with that level of play, I would love to see it when, the deck does go his way. So, and, just for getting top 8, like you said, you're already fighting through thousands and thousands of people, and walking away with $300 reviews, still nothing to sneeze at, right? Let's take a look at the bracket so that you guys are caught up on how the games are going so far. So as you see in that first top of the bracket here, ours from Team IEV taking it over Azure Cloud. Next round, which we're starting pretty much straight away, is Eerie versus Graa. So we're going from a game with 2 familiar names to a game where I don't really know them at all. So it's actually going to be really, really fascinating to see, are we going to see the birth of a new legend today? Let's find out, shall we?
That's right. It's going to be exciting to see. I mean, this is literally, when you have a brand new game and you get into the competitive circuit and you make top 8 at the very first one, I mean, this is your chance to get your name out there, right? It's your chance to try to get that first place finish. Everyone starts to look for your social media. It can connect to a lot of big opportunities. And so I really hope that for all the new players that are trying out, even if you didn't make it to the top 8, even if, you just played in day 1, I really hope that everyone, keeps on challenging the upcoming SVOs as well, because this prizing is not going to stop, and your chances to make it to the World Grand Prix are also not going to end either. So honestly, I really recommend checking out SVO, and if you like what you're seeing, then make sure you check out all the Shadowverse official socials to keep up to date with all the tournaments happening as well. So it looks like we have the decks of our players ready, though. It's time to take a look at what Eerie and Graa are bringing to the table.
Ooh, so Eerie coming in with a very, prepared for lineup here. Kind of the expected two, I would say. The 2 boogeymen of this format, mid-range Swordcraft and Spell Boost Runecraft. Mid-range Swordcraft is focused on high value, individually good cards to just out-overwhelm your opponent. With the Infinity Evolved, we get the addition of Gildaria, one of the strongest cards in the entire set. The fact that we're already getting a card that has a free super evolve effect is crazy to me, but she also activates her effect if you just normal evolve her on turn 6. So really, really amazing stuff there. Meanwhile, Spell Boost Runecraft that we just saw, but this is a very different list, running 2 Flames of Chaos and 1 Odin. So for games where you want to be a little bit more proactive, you have that option. Very cool lineup here from Eerie.
100%. Let's take a look at the other side with Graa and see what they are bringing to the tournament here. All right. It's a bit more of what we saw earlier with the Roach Forest. We're going to have to see how that's going to come through. Of course, slightly different in tech, so don't see the Limaga in here. But Aggro Abyss is the second Abyss deck that is played in this top 8. And this one is very different from what you just saw. This list is trying to win games real fast, thanks to, of course, the addition of Exila, Nocturnal General, and also just a lot of the other high damage potential cards. I mean, you're dealing damage to yourself, but you're trying to run down your opponent's pace and take advantage of some of those more slower decks in this format. So we're gonna have to see how this matchup spread works out in the Aggro Abyss's favor or not. So definitely gonna be a player to watch out here for Graa.
I think Aggro Abyss is quite a heads-up pick into the current format. It does potentially struggle against mid-range Sword if it doesn't get the early game off, but it has a really good matchup into Spell Boost Rune, and quite an okay matchup into Roach Forest Craft as well, because they're spending a lot of their early turns doing setup, like playing Godwood Staff and stuff. Yeah. If you're just hitting them in the face while they're doing all their, faffing about, you just get them, before they can even get their game plan off. So Aggro Abyss is quite a heads-up pick, IMO. That being said, unfortunately for Graa, Rs21 made it to top 4, and with that Ward Haven mid-range Abyss lineup, that might just be the kryptonite for that Aggro Abyss. But I will say, very cool to see 4 completely different decks in this second quarterfinal here. And it's encouraging to see. And even the decks that are the same, they're built a little bit differently, right? We see the Spell Boost Rune with the One of Odin that's popping up. We see the mid-range sword. We see the, and the Flames of Chaos too, also not like an entirely universal tech for Spell Boost Rune. So it's pretty interesting to see how each build differs compared to like how the players play the game. So I love to see it.
Yeah.
That entire time I was trying to work in an "Are you ready, Graa?" right behind you, Eerie line, but I couldn't find the opportunity, so I'm just gonna say it now.
Yep. I like in our rehearsal before this, we were trying to play it off, but I was like, all right, this is everyone's first one. Also, shout outs to everyone tuning into the tournament from the Japanese community. Also looking at everyone that's tuning in. Of course, it's very late at night here in Japan. So thank you so much to everyone that's coming through here. It's like 2:30, but we got
shout outs to all the chatters in the stream. We got like 1,600, 1,700 viewers right now. Insanity! I love to see people show up for the competitive side of Shadowverse. It is a blast, as you'll see. Let's get into the games though. Right here, right now, Eerie versus Graa. It's going to be mid-range Swordcraft versus the Roach off the bat. Let's take a look.
Here we go. It's time, sword gamers. At long last, tier 1 sword. And we do see the quick blader in this list as well. A little bit more on the aggressive side for Eerie. And then on Graa's side, the Glade is going to be very important in this matchup. So that's 100% a keep. Everything else, though, I think you want that staff.
You got to get that Godwood staff going, and the Garden's Lure does help as well. I will say most mid-range swordcrafts have pivoted to Quickblader just because that aggression is what lets you win games against Roach. If you give Roach, or even Rune for that matter, any time at all, they will capitalize on that weakness. Having the Quickblader on one is what lets Sword win this matchup, in my humble opinion.
Yep, 100%. But we're going to see here a little bit of a slower start, but the Prim is also going to be very good. I mean, like, Prim I really like in this list, just because of the fact that it's like, whether you go first or second, she does so much, right? You going first, you can kind of like either play it out on tempo, or you can wait until you're on 4 play points and play out both of them. Going second, the fact that you can play her out on turn 3 is really good. But also, like, especially when you go first, having the Nonya with the Bane into your opponent's first evolve turn, especially in the mirror, is so huge, because the Zirconia gets to trade, but it gets traded off by the Bane, which is just so big.
It's just very good in general. Like, if you go second, you extra play point out the Prim into a turn 2 Nonya. Like, that's pretty backbreaking too. And also the fact that Prim is an ambush means that it's a follower that potentially gets buffed up by Zirconia that they can't answer. So Prim is just a fantastic card. Also, on this turn, Eerie has the potential play of Nonya into Quickblader all phase, which I think is the correct play in this matchup. You see Graa head in hand right now with this line.
Happy.
And I think correct. You cannot give that Roach infinite time, especially because Roach has very limited healing. Their only healing basically is from Deepwood Memory, which they usually save as a combo piece. So if you can make the aggression happen, you do it. You pull the trigger. And also, I feel like Graa is sort of forced to keep extra play point for Glade, so you know their turn 3 is going to be weak. Capitalizing on this early aggression might just be what wins Eerie the entire game.
100%. Like, literally, you put it perfectly. I think it's also the fact that you want to be playing the staff this turn usually, and Eerie sees that, and it's like, well, I'm going to play staff, I'm not going to let you. But this,
you know what that means?
Is going to do so much work.
But using extra play point for this means that not only does one Quickblader live, but you're delaying your Glade by 1 turn. If Eerie makes a wide board here, it's pretty difficult for Graa to come back. Is Prim plus Nonya a potential option here? Like, that kind of forces an evolve.
Such a threat.
Yeah, that forces an evolve on the Lily, right? And that means that it gets taken out by the Bane. I think that might be the line.
Yeah, I think if you're already starting off this aggressive, potentially throwing in the Albert next turn is also a pretty good option. Obviously, like, you know, Zirconia plays are very, very good, but when you're this far ahead and you're seeing yourself get further ahead, the Albert is actually going to do a lot of work as an aggressive piece to just connect them to sort of be in that danger zone of like, you are constantly going to be at below 12 defense, and my Super Evo Albert is going to win the game. But instead, putting in the Vals here to deal 5 damage, and
I don't know if I liked that play. I'm not sure if I liked that, Chris. Prim plus Nonya is more efficient play point usage, and with Valse or Rosé with this turn, both options led to double trade Fairy. Nonya plus Prim plus Nonya prevented double play Fairy Cairn, which is their best play for Graa here. I think if Prim plus Nonya came out that turn, it might have been more awkward for Graa.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think also like this trade also makes it so that the Rosé doesn't have a trade target. So here you're going to just kind of see the Albert go face, which is, again, we talked about this earlier. Getting down to 9 means that they are going to struggle to heal to 13 to evade the Albert lethal. And because there's the Odin in this list, the Storm potential is actually much higher than average. So this Blade has to be committed just to take out the Albert, but...
Not only are there 2 Odins, there is 1 Centaur Centurion in this list as well. Eerie is taking names with this list, all right? All Storm all the time. I don't even think Albert Storm face is wrong here.
Yeah, because you just win off of Odin next turn. They don't have a way to go wide enough with wards or with healing to prevent the damage from just winning the game. So if you go Albert, they go down to 3. Even, like... Super Evo Odin is another 7, so can you heal 5 next turn?
Do they have a multiple ward out? I don't think so either, right?
Nope. It's... Yep, it's literally...
No wards in the deck. There's 0 wards in the deck.
No options, yeah. There's no options. So you're actually...
I think Albert face is correct. Leaving the 5/5 up.
Ooh. Oh, you see the... Saw the waiting
Eerie
for a response
the line.
For a second. Yep. We're coming back here. Get the Evo. Albert goes face. Ignore the 5/5.
That's correct. I legitimately think that's correct.
Oh, I love this aggressive play style coming through. Now for Graa,
especially with an Odin in the back, Graa has to heal 4 and clear the Albert this turn. I don't think there's any way.
This like doesn't have the ability to do that. That's the craziest part.
There's literally no chance. Titania doesn't do anything.
Nope.
Is Roach a paper tiger going by these first 2 rounds here?
Man, Roach is supposed to be one of the most represented decks in the tournament, but so far it's not had any of its hot showings.
That Odin putting in the work next turn. I think this might be checkmate right off the gate. Titania makes Albert a little 1/1, but if you're not healing and if you're not putting wards in the way, it's chopped, as the kids say.
Ooh, all right. I see you, bro. You get to heal 1, but it's just a 5 damage going in, and the Odin here on 7 play points is gonna do it. Right here
it comes.
Don't forget the super evolving. You've got game 1, Eerie. There it is. Coming on in with 7 whole damage. Eerie sweeps up game 1 in just 7 turns.
Whoa. I think that Prim Nonya turn would have been even more backbreaking for Graa to answer, but it didn't matter. Like, with the amount of aggression Eerie had in hand, like, that game plan was locked from the moment the Odin entered the hand. It was like, okay, turn 5 Albert, turn 6 Albert Odin, easy clap. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, just wash your hands and get out. That was a very smooth game. And also, like, being able to read the matchup. Like, that's one of the most important skills, I think, when you're trying to improve at Shadowverse. That game is literally an example of study what your opponent's deck does, study what kind of cards go into their deck just on average, just looking at what people play on ladder. Then you're like, oh, they don't play healing cards. They don't play ward. Wait, if I just go face, I win? Okay, I guess I just go face, right? And those are situations that if you don't know what the card pool is, you're like, oh, do they have a ward? Do they have healing? I'm not sure. And then you don't make those more risky plays. But in the end, those risks are the ones that pay off.
Going into game 2 here, it is going to be Spellboost Runecraft versus Roach once again. And what a dynamite hand from Graa here. We see the Godwood and 1 Roach in hand already. But now, the problem, no fairy generators. I feel like this is sort of the eternal issue with combo-based decks. Sometimes you get all of the peel and none of the juice, you know? So that's kind of the problem here.
Talk to these people. I mean, at least the Godwood staff will help us to connect into something, as long as we find a fairy generator, right? I mean, surely there's enough of them. And then we got the table.
We cannot be doing this, Chris. We just started. We can't be doing Caster's Curse, man. We can't be starting the competitive year off like this. Hey, Fairies Allure off the top. Do you think the Olivia not doing a whole lot of work at the current Mo?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, honestly, probably just extra play point Godwood, right? And then try and go for a Oh, you can't sync the Olivia. That's right. It has to be a Forestcraft card. So having to sacrifice either the Carbuncle or the Ambush is pretty tough, actually.
I think extra play point Godwood in the next turn, try to dig with the Allure might be better. But then if things go wrong, you're going to have a pretty empty turn here. So...
No, the problem is if you extra play point Godwood here, next turn Allure, you can't combo it with 2 other cards, so you're not taking advantage of the Godwood, right? So
that's true.
Goes for a Carbuncle plus Ambush play instead to clear the board and present threat. I think, yeah, against Runecraft, you can't not present threat, especially in the early game. So that does make sense.
It looks like it's gonna stick around too. Pretty good hand on Eerie's side though.
I was just gonna say, like, that is quite the hand on Eerie's side. We got a Burgent, an Anon Graa, multiple homework times, the Cocytus and the Climb already in hand. This might be served if that Climb can get to 0 by turn 10. Will Graa let Eerie get to turn 10 in the first place is a whole nother question, but let's see. Still no fairy generators though.
Yeah, right now I think we just want to make use of the Godwood staff, right?
The best draw off of Allure is Convocation, right? You just Allure, draw Convocation, play 1 fairy, and then you immediately get the benefit. But if you don't get Convocation, you're not activating the Godwood, which is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, I think on Eerie's side here, I think it's relatively safe to just draw cards. Obviously, I think there's that risk you're feeling of like, ooh, if I take that 2 extra damage here, I'm gonna be in Roach kill range, but looks like the teachings is being considered here with time very limited. Gonna go for the heal too.
If he played Homework Time, if Homework Time was played, wouldn't it be Overdraw? That's the problem. It would have been, right? Because they were at 8 cards. Yeah.
Also, hold up. We're literally seeing the perfect draws.
There's Convocation
to satisfy the freaking combo, dude.
Convocation drawn. I think it has to be Convocation 1 fairy to activate the God. I think that's perfect. Great draw off of Graa. It's gonna be confusing because Eerie is playing Rune with Anne and Graa, and meanwhile the other player's name is Graa.
Dude, we're gonna next turn we're gonna see Graa react to Anne and Graa live on stream in front of over 1,500 viewers.
I think it might be a Burgent though next turn, just to get the crest up, especially with with Climb in hand. I think it's probably Burgent.
Yeah. It's like the fact that also it answers this board really nicely.
Leaving a 6/5 up as well, right? That they have to clear.
Exactly.
So they have to either sink a Lily or a Glade next turn. Yeah, we're not seeing Glade on Graa's hand, but of course Eerie doesn't know that.
Yeah, now I think Eerie is debating between the 2 options, but as you said, I do think the Burgent is a little bit more worth it. It gives you that long-term investment that's going to keep on repaying you, and it's going to just give you so much gas throughout the long game, give you the Demonic Call access as well, in order to answer any of the bigger boards that might stick around, and Burgent is going to be the one to come down.
This is 100% the play. Like, with the climb already in hand plus Kakaidos, like, if you can just get any of these onions down to boost, spell boost, the mentioned climb for free, like, you already have the win condition in your hand. All you have to do is, you know, survive till the turn 10.
Yeah, here we're
Out
going to see
Lily
going to be the MVP.
I see.
Oh, even evolving for the draw here. Yeah, sure. There's Bug
Bug
Alert.
Alert is a good pick, though.
Second
Double.
Bug Alert. Yeah, the Bug Alert can help, like, reduce bales, I suppose, but I'm still seeing too few fairy generators in this hand. Like, 1 Olivia, 2 bales. Next turn, you can extra play point out the Olivia, though, so that's an option, at least.
Yeah, I don't imagine anything's going to stick around this turn. I mean, this is a potential on Graa turn just to get that spell boost going on, and then, I mean, you got so many options for board clear. The thing is with the double Bug Alert is, paired with the Rhinoceros, that's going to be a pretty nasty OTK turn once we get to it, right?
Yeah, true. And I wonder if Graa will even spend the extra play point, considering an extra play point is essentially extra damage for Roach, too, so... I don't know. I think you just trade the summoning here, yeah, and just sit.
Interesting choice of sequencing, though. I feel like maybe taking out the Lily first to make sure that the Looking Smart would hit the 1/1
Yeah,
would have been
sure,
safer
sure.
instead. I mean,
I
the
guess it
gamble
didn't
paid off, so
Oh, no, I guess it didn't really matter because the Onion could have traded into the 1/1 anyway, right? So
that's also
it
true,
didn't,
yeah.
yeah. All right, out comes Bug Alert onto the cairn. We are generating lots of Deepwood memories this game.
Very important.
But
this
where's the
connecting to the second one? Like, it's the equivalent of a fairy, basically, right? Even better.
Oh, with Titania in hand too. That's fairy generation for the rest of the game, but will that be too slow? At least in this late game stage. That's my concern.
Still at 7 play points, so right now for Eerie, not having anything to crash the Onion Patch into is a little bit unfortunate, and also at maximum hand size, this one doesn't look particularly good just yet either.
I feel like don't you just coup on here? Because you already have 2 climbs in hand? Oh, not going for it.
Doesn't look to be the case. Oh, especially drawing that second one.
This is awkward now, though, because, like, all of the cards in Eerie's hand draw cards, so you're going to overdraw unless you see a call.
Yeah, and you don't exactly want to be doing that, because you could be saving that for a big burst turn of Kuon, of course. Kuon, if you play it on 10 play points, destroys the Shikigami that it normally plays out, and then adds all of the Shikigamis destroyed that turn into a total attack and defense for the final Shikigami that it summons with the Noble one. And so being able to combine the demonic calls is really, really big. This is not exactly the most threatening board. And the second Roach picked up, oh, this could be big for Graa. I think the most important thing playing Roach in these high-stakes situations is you can't wait for your timer to start thinking out your turn. Like, this is, you have to be thinking out your plays and thinking out the combo that you're going to be doing with Roach while your opponent's playing their cards. And then you just divert from your plan based on the board that they passed on. Otherwise, you're not going to have enough time to execute the game-winning combo on some of these earlier turns especially.
100%. Like, with Roach, it's such an execution-heavy deck. Not only because of Roach math, but, like, just having to think through, what do I fuse into Garden's Allure? Like, how much threat do I present? How much fairy, fodder do I hold back? There's so many decisions that you have to make when you play Rhinoceros. It's definitely got a really high ceiling, but it's also, what I think is often overlooked when people talk about tournaments is the human factor. Like, the tournaments are still played by human beings, and if you're not able to carry off Roach lethals 8 hours into a tournament, that might be your downfall. So it's also like that's legitimately a factor.
Yeah, 100%. Like, you have to keep in mind that, with the SVO, we have tournaments happening throughout different time zones, but everyone from all the different time zones is trying to play in as many as they can. So sometimes you got to think, okay, if this tournament is being played when it's nighttime for me, maybe I got to play something that I can actually sustain playing at those hours too, right? But Eerie, we see here, is doing the math already, calculating the path to lethal and how to trade away this board. The second Kuan coming in, I think, is definitely opening things up a lot. And also the fact that committing the first one will connect you into having the climb go down to 0 very quickly.
Yeah, I think this is really good. Also, the addition of Norman into the hand means that Eerie on turn 9 gets to present 2 wards that have to be dealt with by the Roach as well, letting them go into a turn 10 lethal, right? So,
yeah,
like, that addition of the Norman in hand really, I think, kind of seals up Eerie's, like, you know, roadmap here.
Exactly. Does commit the spell just to present as many followers on board as possible, knowing that Forest, you know, unless they commit the Glade, is going to be a little bit struggling to deal with this board.
Ooh, and the Cairn is popped. Gonna have to sink a Bale, otherwise you're not... Is this lethal? Hold up.
I think this is
it.
it.
It's lethal.
This is
it's
it.
Lethal. It's lethal. It's lethal.
Yep. Once you see the move, you know it's already happening. We
2
have
deep
the
woods
wards
plus
cleared
extra play.
out.
Oh, yeah, this is lethal. Yeah.
Combo 6. Here comes 7.
Because you get
and
2 roaches out.
Revolt for another
Yep.
10. There we
That's
go. Exactly 18 damage on the board. 19, sorry, with the Super Evolve +1. And that is going to be finally a 1-1 set taken by Graa here with the Roach Forest. Finally get to
Just
see
like
a
you
dub
said,
come
Chris.
through.
Just like you said, Chris, you notice how fast Graa moved once the turn ticked over. He was already doing
Yeah.
that math like 5 turns ago.
Exactly. You gotta stay on your toes. Like with this deck specifically, it's very rewarding of people that have practiced it, put in the time with it, and know how to execute with it. And now we get to see Graa's other deck. I'm so happy. Like, one of the biggest reasons why I wanted this to go to a game 3 is to see this aggro Abyss.
Ooh, and I think this is quite a favorable matchup in general for Aggro Abyss, but with Graa not having a turn 1 play, it's a little... Well, it's a little more dire with no turn 1 play. You can't get the tempo immediately, unfortunately. Like,
Yeah,
if they
it's
had
gonna
turn
be-
1 Cultivator of Malice, that could have presented 1 to 2 damage. That could have been the difference between winning the game or losing the game, right? So, like, not having a turn 1 there is pretty tough.
It's like that or the Lilith or looks like anything in that sense is definitely very huge. But at least you get to put down the barrel on turn 2. And since they didn't play a spell on turn 1, they actually...
Yeah, there's literally no way to kill this barrel. Yeah. Because there was no spell on turn 1. Yep. Witch's New Brew. If that was an insight, this would have been a different game. Unfortunately, with no spell, that Stormy Blast is only doing 2 damage. And I don't know, I haven't been to my math tutoring recently, but I believe 2 does not equal to 3. So Barrel's gonna live and just strike 3 to the dome, as well as the bat coming out from Errol as well. Barrel and Errol? Goodness me.
I was gonna say, we got the whole party out here, the whole family. It's crazy.
This is a pretty easy clear though, right? You just like engage into a Sage Light with an extra play point, but if you do that, you do not have extra play point into Anne and Graa. So really, like, this entire time, you're having to balance the opportunity cost of one play versus another. Meanwhile, all they have to do is hit you in the dome every turn. Double Winged Servant into next turn's Excella, knowing that extra play point is gone, so no Burgent can come out this turn. Graa, absolutely savage.
This is so big. 3 things are staying on the board. This Exila is gonna be eating good.
That's a spicy meatball, okay? That Excella is going in for massive amounts of damage, and that drawback of the Excella not like dealing damage to their own face mitigated by the drain on the bats. So if you guys aren't aware, Excella gains +1 attack for each other allied follower on the field. With 3 allied followers on the field, she is now 6 attack with the Evo, 9 damage to face on turn 5.
This is so huge, down to 7.
No extra play point means that no Norman this turn, no dirt as well.
All you gotta do is fight with the Anne and Graa against Graa and see where it takes you, but I'm afraid it's gonna be pretty tough. You get to do the 3 damage to one of the bats, and I mean, you can run in the 5-5 into the 6-5, but then you lose your ward, and you don't want to be doing that. So I think the Anne and Graa has to go into the 6-5 here, and then leave the ward up to pray that it's enough. to stave off this damage. What's crazy
I was just gonna say very
one-off.
Yeah, I was just gonna say very. No, that's lethal, isn't it? No, it's not. It's one off. One play point off.
It's one off.
Aragavi Evolve plus Run is 4 damage, right?
Wait. Isn't Barrel? Hold up. Okay, never mind.
No, Barrel Evolve plus Rage is 4 damage. This is also 4 damage while leaving a 6/5 on board. So this is better.
Yeah. This is indeed better, and it still puts them in
chopped.
the lethal range of Rage of Serpents.
It's chopped.
You don't have any. You don't have Earthright. You don't have Earthright. You don't have Heal. Norman, what are you doing?
So, like that turn, the Excella getting to 6 attack was so crucial because that meant that Anne and Graa, the main body, couldn't trade over it. Meaning that it was just like a free board for Graa to take advantage of. What an upset. Like, not even really an upset, just like an overwhelming performance. Like, this is why you queue Aggro Abyss into a meta like this. This is the only reason. Because if you can take control of the early game, all these decks with their high ceiling power levels, they don't even get to get off the ground.
Oh, Gray is vibing. This is such a different look compared to before, knowing the fact that 3 defense is not changing. Rage of Serpents is getting that job done. Graa with the comeback of the century, taking it over Eerie with the Rage of Serpents, locking in that spot in the top 4.
And you know what I love about this too, Chris, is that you spend all of your brain power on the Roach, and then the next game you're just cruising USA, baby. That's all there is to it. Big congratulations. Graa is making it to the top 4. Once again, Eerie, I would love to see them come back again. Like, just a great performance, but that Roach game versus the Rune was so powerful. And, you know, Graa was able to take advantage of the weaknesses of that very... You know, like, Spell Boost Rune, mid-range sword, very prepared against lineup, right? So players who can take advantage of the weaknesses in the armor really will come through. But, you know, congratulations to both players. I hope to see them again someday. And let's take a look at the bracket here just to see where we're at. And we see we've already done the first 2 quarterfinals, and Graa is moving into the top 4. So let's take a look at the bracket. There it is. Our next game is going to be Mystery versus Itsuki Kaname, the winner of that going up against Maxibon. But first, we are going to get a quick 5-minute break, so do not go anywhere. We'll be back right after this. William plus Sage Light off the climb, letting him heal back to 6 and clear the board.
I read the...
And with a 10-10 on field that ours has to deal with, that might have been the one to save Azure Cloud right then and there.
First and then, but this is so huge of a swing for Azure Cloud right now.
Hello, my bad.
Just going to be sitting behind this and praying. No, just I saw the talent notepad admit that we're going into 5-minute break after going through the top 8, so I thought that we would do this game as well. But...
Oh, was that a mistake? Did I mess up? Sorry.
I mean, they went break, this
does force Unholy Vessel, but Azure Cloud now on top deck mode, but that climb I was just looking at the run-up show. That's my bad. 10. If Azure Cloud doesn't have a good hand next turn, he can just play Stormy Blast and play Climb immediately. So it's kind of tough for ours as well, setting up 2 3/7 wards. But depending on what is out of this climb, it's definitely Stormy Blast into Climb here. But what comes out the top?
Let's see it. The Cocytus.
It's a little... it's not safe. He's not safe to land it. He has to play Utilize. Thunder takes out Norman. Trade at Thunder. Takes out Norman. Trade at 2. Yep. Yeah, that's lethal.
There it is. This is game 1 coming in for ours as he sees the damage and manages to take it after what was a very, very close potential comeback from Azure Cloud for this first game 1, the inaugural first game of SVO Worlds Beyond.
Man, a game of that quality is why you tune into Shadowverse Open. What a close. Pull will still be random if he double trades here to make room for the reanimate. Pull will still be random if he double trades here to make room for the reanimate. Oh, he's actually trading only Coco to heal an additional 2. I think that's pretty smart. Generally, getting to 19 is about the safe spot unless they're a turn, unless they have a reasonable amount of zero cost. And Cerberus off the top with a ghost. Oh, this is just 5 million ways to die here. Ours going undefeated, carrying on from playoffs. 5 up.
Ooh. Oh, you saw the waiting
Eerie
for
sees
response
the line.
there for a second. Yep. We're coming back here. Get the Evo. Albert goes face. Ignore the 5-5.
That's correct. I legitimately think that's correct.
Points is gonna do it. Right here.
Here it comes.
Don't forget the super evolve, and you've got game 1, Eerie. There it is. Coming on in with 7 whole damage. Eerie sweeps up game 1 in just 7 turns.
Gonna have to think of Bale, otherwise you're. Is this lethal? Hold up.
I think this is
Oh,
it.
it's lethal.
This is
It's
it.
lethal. It's lethal. It's lethal.
Yep. Once you see the move, you know it's already happening. We
2
have the
deep woods
wards
plus
cleared
extra play.
out.
Oh yeah, this is lethal. Yeah.
Combo 6. Here comes 7.
Because you get
and
2
then you
roaches
super
out.
evolve for another
Yep.
10. There we
That's
go. Exactly 18 damage on the board. 19, sorry, with the super evolve +1. And that is going to be finally a 1-1 set taken by Graa here with the Roach Forest.
To do is hit you in the dome every turn. Double winged servant into next turn's Excella, knowing that extra play point is gone. So gains +1 attack for each other allied follower on the field. With 3 allied followers on the field, she is now 6 attack with the Evo, 9 damage to face on turn 5.
This is so cute. Rage of Serpents is getting that job done. Graa with the comeback of the century, taking it over Eerie with the Rage of Serpents, locking in that spot in the top 4.
It begins with a single shot. In this new world, everyone is a combatant. And every place is a battlefield. Lands will crumble. People will suffer. And skies will shatter. But amid great evil, the light of hope shines ever bright. Shadowverse, worlds beyond, legends rise.
And now, the world lies within your grasp. So, won't you take my hand?
Welcome back, folks, to the continuation of the Shadowverse Open Kickoff Tournament Top 8, where your casters, myself, Different Fight, joined by Ignidius. And if you've missed out, then we have some crazy games coming up for you as we are now getting into the second half of the Top 8. And, you know, this is going to be a very interesting matchup now coming up on this next one, as it's going to lock in our final top 4 player.
That's right, because due to some snafu, Maxibon actually goes straight to top 4. So this is going to be the first, the last top 4 player, like you said. It's going to be Mystery versus Itsuki Kaname.
That's right. It's going to be very interesting. Let's take a look at what these players are bringing to this match. As of course, we have some interesting techs, I think, even if the lists are similar archetypes, but a little bit different here, as we see that Mystery is bringing Spell Boost Rune together with the mid-range sword. And there's quite a few interesting techs in this list as well. Igni, is there anything that stands out to you here on this rune list first?
Oh yeah, like with the runecraft list, we're seeing arcane eruption explosion. What's arcane eruption? It's so rarely played that I forgot. Yeah, arcane eruption as a tech here, specifically against the wider boards that can be presented of aggro abyss and mid-range swordcraft. It's a 4-cost spell that does 2 to all followers, Earthright 1 draw a card, so that's an interesting technology. Also, the one of Flames of Chaos is pretty interesting too. Other than that, pretty standard list. Meanwhile, over on the mid-range sword side, one of Urias, which a lot of people were cutting, but if you can find the opportunity to play the Urias, it can often seal away a game because it prevents, for example, Noble Shikigami from going face if you have that opportunity to sneak that Urias in. The only problem is Urias costs 8, so kind of hard to find the opportunity, but if you can, he can win games single-handedly. So pretty cool lineup here from Mystery.
Yeah, lots of interesting techs. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this deck plays out, as, you know, this is one of the main decks that I've been playing myself as well, and just want to see, you know, if they can find that good timing to play that Urias and all the other techs like Odin and Olivia, if they come in handy or not. But let's take a look at the opposing side here as well, of course, with Itsuki Kaname bringing in Roach Forest here again with the one of Tech Limaga that we saw in the very first game today. And then on the other side is going to be the mid-range sword, a bit more of what we're used to seeing, still with the double quick blader and the 1 tentacles in here as well, with the Ravening Tentacles being able to get a little bit more of that face damage in compared to some of the other lists.
I think the tentacles is also really, really important in a mid-range swordcraft mirror, because healing that 5 from the tentacles puts you out of opposing Albert range. I think that tentacles as a one of is generally considered good in the mirror. But that being said, the mirror might happen, but we'll see depending on how the lineups shake out here. Again, that's Itsuki Kaname, who is a content creator, I believe, versus Mystery, who I've never heard of. He's a mystery to me, so let's just, you know, the game is coming in. The full username, sorry, Invate Mystery. Is Invate the team name? Or is that... I have no clue. It's all a mystery to me. I have no idea.
Oh, mystery.
Well,
it's crazy. There's layers to this.
Let's get into the match, though. The players are currently queuing up, thinking about what deck to queue in first. What do you think? Like, against the Forest Craft, I don't really love Runecraft's or Sword's chances either way against Forest. We saw in that last round too, like Burgent can end up clogging your board against Forest. That's kind of bad. Maybe you just queue the Sword to scout on Mystery's side. Let's find out though.
Yeah, I feel like Mystery has a bit of an edge in this case, where it's like you're either playing the Mirror or you're playing Roach, and you're not necessarily super in favored into either one of them. So let's take a look and see what is gonna be the first game we have here. It looks
Jumping
like
right in.
Mystery. Yep, it's gonna be bringing in that sword.
Yo, Mystery's got like a full jersey and a green screen. Is he from a different game, like competitive player?
Hold up.
Or... I gotta Google Invade Mystery.
Gotta keep those eyes peeled. Hold up.
Yeah.
All right, pretty interesting opening hand here. All right, both sides are actually pretty decent. We do see the Godwood on Itsuki's side, and we also have some good one-drops. We have Fairy Generation, so we know the draw power is going to be online in this deck as well. We can actually play point boost to get the staff down and then turn it on the next turn as well. Otherwise, on the other hand, for Mystery, Nanya for next turn looks pretty good. Grimnir is actually here, despite being a one-of in this list, by the way. It actually did show up for... I mean, this could be pretty big just to stave off some of this early damage, but Nanya with the Bane is going to be the choice instead.
I have bearing information. Thank you, Google Sensei. Mystery is from Invade Esports, a Thai esports team from a previous competitive card game, now jumping over into Worlds Beyond from a different card game. Amazing to see.
Cool. Love to see it. This is what it's all about, dude. Worlds Beyond, it's a new beginning, and it's a chance for everyone to get involved, right?
Absolutely. And, you know, I love the the pull Worlds Beyond is having, dragging in players from all across different games. Like, they didn't make the top 8, unfortunately, but I was also letting you know that in playoffs was both world champions of Shadowverse Evolve English also playing. So they didn't make it, but the fact that they were in playoffs is pretty amazing too.
100%. That being said, though, as we watch the playoffs, we see here a really nice turn for Itsuki Kaname. That did commit the Evo on the Fairy, but this is going to be a good force of clear, and also getting the Lance Trooper as a 0 drop is going to be big for this turn. You could have also kept it for the Gildaria if you want to.
I was just going to say, I wonder if it was better with the Gildaria. I was just going to say that same thing.
Yeah, it's a little bit tough because this isn't like having this on the board is not a big challenge for Forest. But combined with other cards, whether it's the Amalia later as just having 2 more bodies to trade into a wide board, or the Gildaria to just take out a wider board at the same time, maybe they're not expecting the wide boards to go tall enough where you would need that much reach from the Gildaria, but we're going to have to see if that actually comes up.
I will say, though, Itsuki's early game here is looking pretty amazing. He's got generators, he's got Godwood, he's got Cairn up. The only thing you're missing is the Roach. Hopefully this is not a repeat of that Azure Cloud game we saw. Yeah.
Yep.
Do you even just sing? No, you've got to deal with this board, right? You can't not. Ooh, missed the 50-50. You can still just play double Fairy here, though, and it's kind of fine.
You lose out on
Is
your
it
fairies,
fine?
which is... Yeah, I don't know, but has to evolve. Wow, that's... Feels could have evolved into the 1-2 in order to preserve the fairy alive.
Well, I think it was just a failed gamble, because if the Bug Alert hit the Rosé, I think like there was a consideration to just not deal with the 1-2 at all, right? But
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is big, going as far as committing the evolve.
And seeing that... No, go ahead, sorry.
No, I'm just curious about the evolve commit there, considering that we haven't seen the Glade come through yet.
What I think it is, right, is that in Mystery already saw Itsuki sink 2 regular evolves, so forcing a super on the Glade means that there's less damage out for the Roach.
That is true. That also basically says, like, okay, you're going to get 1 Baby Carbuncle Super Evo, or you're going to get 1 Super Evo on your Roach, as you said.
Do you banish the Godwood and super evolve into the Glade?
Ooh.
No, right? They already have 8 cards and soon to be 9 in hand. I don't think it matters at this point.
Yeah. Thing is, the balance is quite big. If you assume they have the Roach, then shutting off a bounce that they may not have more access to would be pretty big. Rally count's still pretty low. This would be a chance, like 7 play points. It really does feel like an Odin turn.
You could always... Gildaria regular evolve also deals with this board pretty well. Right? Because
you also get the Gildaria.
Yeah, the 2/2/2s just rush into the 6/6, and then the Gildaria goes into the Fairy, leaving up a... Going for the super instead.
You get to keep your board with this because you just swing the 7/7 and pass.
I think what the consideration here is, you're trying to force Kaname to sink the super not on Roach, and that drastically reduces the damage potential, right? Isn't that like kind of the game plan for Mystery? That's why he evolved that Valse earlier too, right? I think the entire strategy has been, the entire strategy has been revolving around that.
Keep with bounty here, gonna heal like up to 20. Prioritizing the combo plays here. This Lily is very huge in taking out the 7/7.
There's still 2 2/2s up though, and no Roach in hand to this point.
We're
the problem
approaching the midway
unfortunate.
Point.
I think you have to spend memories here, because otherwise you're going to be overdrawing too. That's also... That's not Roach. If this next top deck is Roach and the Roach is burned, my heart will bleed.
You don't want to see it. The Odin's going to come through, though. This is a
taking
big,
out the Godwood!
Turn. This is really, really big. Committing the regular evolve here. This is going to be a total of 10 damage to the face. And this gets you to Albert win next turn.
Yeah, this all goes face. Yeah, 100%. Because this is out of range of the 1 Deepwood now too. Still no Roach, burns the Bug Alert. I think this was kind of a tough game for Itsuki here.
Like, what a smart play from Mystery, just eating up all of those Evo points by just forcing questions. Just constantly being like, can you answer this without evolving? Nope. Well, you're gonna have to commit the evolve point.
Yeah, and now there's like nothing you can do, right? Fairy, Carbuncle, Super. That means there's no Super for Roach. You're spending Carbuncle Super just to deal with the Odin. You have to sync Godwood again for Draw Engine. Yeah, you pop
really
the Cairn.
This game.
Okay, yeah, that works too.
You get the clear, but we
have
know
to
it's
Godwood
not
here.
enough with that Albert in hand. And you gotta, I mean, if you're Itsuki Kaname,
Oh,
you're
no, if you
praying that the
Cairn, it's
Albert
triple heal. You're out of range, right?
by 1. You're so right. The 3rd Deepwood actually is barely evading.
And then you extra play point out the Godwood staff. That's amazing.
Wow.
But
That
no
was
Roach.
so heads up. Still no Roach. Almost down to the last 20 cards in the deck. Now 9 play points for Mystery. Gonna
Amelia. Amelia
Super Evolve
Magus
is
Super
available.
Evolve. Yeah, this is the most annoying for Roach to deal with now.
Yeah, they have to worry about the Banes, and they don't
Of
have
course.
the AoE damage.
Of course, Mystery doesn't have perfect information, so like you just assume that they have the Roach, right? And this way you deal with most of them with the most board. But yeah, this is looking pretty tough for Itsuki now.
Yep, we're back to, well, now we're out of Albert kill range because, of course, it is only going to be doing 6, so we're now going to be playing a bit of the longer game here. But, I mean, if this Amelia sticks, then it's going to be big trouble. So you really need to commit the double bail, and with no evolution points, you're running out of ways to deal damage to the rest of the board.
Yeah, this is pretty dire for the Itsuki, actually. Oh,
Yeah, basically passing.
Wait,
knows that
wait.
there's no use.
yeah, that's just lethal.
Yep.
That's
it
tough.
down.
I mean, that's
on
the
board.
that's just the inherent benefit of being the proactive player. You force their reactions. If they don't have the answer, you win with your game plan. If they do have the answer, they spent all their resources, and then you can just pivot into a defensive mode. Like, that's the strength of mid-range swordcraft.
Exactly.
All the cards are so individually high value that you have that flexibility of execution.
Yep, and it's like the early plays also really helped as well, I think. Like, in general, that list just felt very fluid. Seeing like the 1 of Grimnir, I guess the 2 damage AoE didn't come in as big as it could have. There were some instances where it would have been nice, but I think the biggest lesson from that game was really those turns where Invade Mystery was just constantly asking, evolve for me. I need you to evolve for me, and if you don't, then I'm just going to keep on getting further ahead, and if you do, then I'm going to take away your damage potential. Let's see how his Kaname locks back in with a Roach, whereas now Mystery has to win with the rune list.
Well, we saw in the previous round, the Roach took it quite handily just by, you just got to get the generators for the early zeros. That being said, another option here that Itsuki is taking advantage of is to just extra play point out the Carbuncle for early game tempo and try and take advantage of Rune's weak early game. Unfortunately, Mystery does have the Storming Blast to deal with this immediately, and that just completely counteracts it. Also a consideration, Mystery's list does run the Arcane Eruption, so any like route which involves going wide doesn't work against Mystery's list either because of that eruption here. So if they go like, you know, fairy, 1 card deals with it while drawing through the deck. Garden's Allure, still trying to find Godwood Staff. No Godwood Staff, no Roach, just a bunch of fairies. And like I said, all those fairies get taken out by 1 eruption here. With no proactive play from Itsuki, you can just spend the entire turn drawing. This is looking pretty okay for Mystery here. Yep. Godwood Staff come out.
The other thing to keep in mind is, like, I think looking at Mystery's 2 lists, this might be one of the best built lineups for a lot of the meta that is in this top 8. Like, honestly, a lot of the card choices just feel like they kind of work out into what they're going to be facing. So, honestly, Mystery is looking really solid in this entire tournament run, just looking out of, like, their card choices going into the deck building.
Now that I know the background of Mystery, I'm like, yeah, I understand why he was signed. There you go. You're gonna see a Lily come out to take out this Anne and Graa. Just committing enough for a combo 3, and then I assume passing here for a draw. Totally fine.
There it is.
This does get answered by Arcane Eruption plus Demonic Call, which is a pretty cool line. Oh, or you just draw the Anagrea. That's another option too. While you boost your declimb. Okay,
Always draw
okay.
first. The lesson of that turn was not, oh my god, he topped the Anagrea. It's you draw first and see your options and see if that changes the way that this turn is going to be played.
Nah,
and as
that's
you can
true.
see, it sure did.
That's true and real, but I will always draw last for content. All right, but
It's
you know,
funny.
we saw an entire it took a lot for him to clear the Anne and Gray last turn. Unfortunately for Mystery, there is a second Lily in hand, so this is a pretty easy cleanup too. That being said, you're giving the Runecraft more time, so kinda sus as well. Also, interesting. So this way, spending the Carbuncle for tempo because you don't see the Roach in hand yet. This lets you play out more cards, and also you get to sink another Cairn for another Deepwood here.
The Cairn is the big one here. I think getting another 0 play point spell in hand is so huge.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like
You
they are
do
gonna
burn
commit
one
to
unless you
it.
extra play point out a Fairy, though. That's the... Oh, you burn one
Yeah,
regardless.
that's I think what they're thinking about. Oh yeah, true, because you get the extra draw regardless. Yeah, you're so right.
Mm. Just pray the next 2 draws aren't Roach.
Ooh, 2 draws, man? I don't know. I think we're gonna have to stop at 1 here. Uh-oh.
The problem is sinking an extra play point is less damage for Roach too. So it's kind of a
true.
darned if you do, darned if you don't situation. The Kuon comes out. Obviously, the most important thing here is presenting the ward in the face of a Roach. So, but let's see. Roach is burned!
Oh! No, not like this.
That's tough.
Kaname. That's really unfortunate. That's one of your 3 Roaches gone, and you're back to square 0, trying to find another one. Gonna still evolve for the draw here because we
Will he just get another one? Yeah, you got another one. Never punished. All good. Gucci gang. I was never worried.
I love
actually.
how that was like, dude, that was literally like, we're never beating the allegations, Igni.
Actually, I was never worried that entire time.
That's crazy.
Yeah. To be honest with you,
pretty
that
good.
was all part of the plan.
All
That's
part of the
3 0. That's 4 0 costs in hand plus Convocation plus Cairn plus Godwood. I think it's lethal next turn. Actually, with a Super Evolve still in hand, that might be lethal next turn.
Yeah,
Right?
I think you're basically looking at combo, like you got combo 4 for 0 play points, and you can still make fairies to go to like 5, 6, 7, and then 8 Roach, and then bounce play Roach. Yeah, that's lethal.
Is it?
Yeah, actually, the only thing is, I guess, with the they're evolving this one. I feel like if they super evoed a ward, that would have been more tricky because they
Are they
only have
planning
access
on-
to 1 Veil.
Are they planning on climbing this turn?
Oh,
Oh no, I don't
feel
think
like
so.
if they were, they would have played this turn a little bit faster. And I mean, don't have enough spell boost either. Yeah, I feel like super
Bale's
evolving the ward would have been better here because the 4/5 is tricky because you have
Yeah,
the
now
fairy
it gets cleared by
in the
Bale.
Veil,
Yeah.
5 damage, and that is actually going to be enough. This is going to be
This
19
is lethal.
damage. Yep. Super evolving the ward would have been able to delay this
7
potentially.
bounce, buff with care and Super Evolve. Yeah.
Yep. This is
That's
going to
just
be
enough.
exact 12 damage plus the 9 from earlier. We're going to see Itsuki Kaname bring it back, even it out
Just a-
1-1 as we go
just
to
a brilliant-
game 3.
A brilliant execution, but it was on the verge of disaster. Like if he didn't get that second Roach, like I don't know how Itsuki Kaname is staying with a stone cold, calm composure. But I would have been crashing out after I saw that Roach get burnt.
I imagine they've had similar games throughout their tournament run.
Oh yeah, probably.
I feel like once, like, you cannot stay that locked in when you see that Roach burn, but Itsuki Kaname is just built different.
Pretty amazing. Like, if that second Roach didn't come through, that would have been a whole different series. But now we come to a Swordcraft versus Runecraft match. Now, in testing, I believe these two classes are basically even, depending on hand quality. So this is going to really come down to the wire.
Going first on the sword side too makes this mulligan a little bit difficult, but I think picking up the Prim here is really, really lucky actually as the one of, but we're gonna have to see.
It's a one of in his list. Wait, let me just double check.
Whoa. It's not a one of. I'm saying he only mulligan one.
Okay.
And got
okay.
the
I understand. Gotcha.
My bad.
The interesting thing, right, is that with Mystery's list, he runs Arcane Eruption specifically for this matchup. So
that's quite big.
He can't cheat it out next turn. I mean, I guess he could if he needed to. He just wouldn't get the draw. But
True.
I think, is that the consideration? No, you got Stormy Blast, so now you're safe. You can do Witch's New Brew, Stormy Blast plus Engage. Next turn, Arcane Eruption, and you still have enough stacks for Norman. Yeah. Pretty good. That Eruption might be the make or break. Let's see if the tech pays off. This is the kind of live science that I love to see. A high stakes tournament. Let's see if the tech pays off. This is what I like to investigate, all right? Because even if, I mean, I guess the Prim plus Nonya does survive Eruption. So,
yeah. And there's no one in Graa to back it up. So,
unless this draws Stormy Blast, no, doesn't get it.
Virgin, a little late.
And that means that, like, that Arcane Eruption with no Stormy Blast off the top means that Nonya does live. Like, if there was a Zirconia in Itsuki's hand, this might have been game-breaking. But fortunately for Mystery, no such luck for Kaname. That being said, Magus still does come out.
Yeah, this is quite big. Of course, this is another potential Eruption target. It does answer the majority of the board, but again, two things live.
Well, no, actually, this is pretty tough because William's only on 2 spell boost. Eruption doesn't full clear. William doesn't full clear. Oh, is it already over before it even began?
Wow, Itsuki Kaname making absolutely insane potential comeback here. William has to trade and get taken out.
That's a Bane and a half. That's tough.
Wow. Oh my god, are we gonna see?
Oh man!
Gonna be aggressive Evos. And it's like, I want to just quickly take a look at this list because they're running 2 Odin and the Tentacles. So there's actually quite a few damage output options. This could be a potential Evo on the Vals together with the Tentacles if they draw into it. There's actually quite a few angles. I mean, also just Albert Evo with the Vals is also enough. So they have to heal here up to 14 to get out of lethal range.
I feel like it has to be Norman double heal because Norman into Barrier gets outed by Odin, no? This is a bit risky. I guess it doesn't lose to Odin, but it is a little tough. It's a little tight.
Zirconia is a little bit late here.
I think Gildaria is really good here, no?
Yeah, was about to say. Gildaria feels like it's going to clear the board, and you do have to commit the Super Evo to it. But at the same time, you're going to get a lot of chip damage from this turn, and that also means that you're pushing them down to 9. So because they don't have any more Earthrights on board, that means they don't have access to easy healing next turn unless they commit 3 play points, which means that 5 damage is actually likely to stick, which then means that Albert is going to be looking pretty lethal on turn 9.
I think this is incredibly dominating performance from Kaname's. Swordcraft list here. That Arcane Eruption not doing pretty much anything this entire game.
Yeah. In this specific matchup too, that's the craziest part.
3D climbs, but basically no boosters. The Burgeon's way too late. Burgeon doesn't even full clear.
That's the worst part. The Burgeon not fully clearing is actually tragic because you're leaving up one follower and it's one of the strongest ones. The 4-3 staying up leaves. I mean,
this is literally just lethal. You just Albert next turn. Yeah.
This is looking to be a wrap as Itsuki Kaname is gonna take it in this third game over Invade Mystery. Albert evolves, he shoots, he scores, and Itsuki Kaname locked in a spot in the top 4.
I mean, pretty dominating performance from that mid-range Swordcraft there. The Runecraft text unfortunately did not pay off, but I would love to see Mystery still competing. Not only is he a talent from Thailand, but from a competitive team, from a different card game. Really cool to see him sharpen his skills. So love to see Mystery come back for another time. But with that game, that wraps up our top 8. So let's take a look at the bracket right now to take a look at who's going into the top 4. On the top half, in a very Battle of the Titans-esque game, Rs21 takes it over Azure Cloud, the battle of the two veterans. Then we had Graa take it over Eerie, and then Itsuki Kaname take it over Invade Mystery. Maxibon 1, 2, 3, 4 makes it to the top 4 due to player misconduct on the opponent's side, unfortunately, but that just means we go straight into the top 4 after a short break. Come back. Don't go anywhere right after this.
See you soon. You don't want to see it. The Odin's going to come through, though. This is a big,
taking out the Godwood!
Turn. This is really, really big. Committing the regular evolve here. This is going to be a total of 10 damage to the face. And this gets you face. To Albert win next turn.
Yeah, this all goes face. Yeah. 100%.
We know it's not enough with that Albert in hand. And you gotta, I mean, if you're Itsuki Kaname,
okay, no. If you care and it's triple heal, you're out of range, right?
Oh, by 1, you're so right. The third Deepwood actually is barely evading.
And then you extra play point out the Godwood staff. That's amazing.
Wow.
But no, wait.
No use.
Yeah, that's just lethal.
Yep.
That's tough.
Down.
I mean, that's
board.
That's just the inherent benefit of being the proactive player. You force their.
No, not like this.
That's tough.
Because you have the fairy
now it gets cleared by Bale.
Yeah. 5 damage, and that is actually going to be enough. This is going to be 90 damage. Yep. Super evolving the ward would have been able to delay this
7 bounce. Puff with care and super evolve, yeah.
Yep. This is going to be exact 12 damage plus the 9 from earlier. We're going to see Itsuki Kaname bring it back, even it out 1-1 as we go to game 3. Wow. Oh my god, we're going to see.
Oh, man.
Aggressive evos, and it's like, I want to just. This is looking to be a wrap as Itsuki Kaname is gonna take it in this third game over Invade Mystery. Albert evolves, he shoots, he scores, and Itsuki Kaname locked in a spot in the top 4.
Peace is a fragile thing, all too easily shattered and devoured with ravenous glee. So avert not your eyes. Stay ever vigilant, for new threats are ever lurking. Even should the world freeze over, and time stands still, you must heed the call. You must awaken the infinite potential that slumbers within. Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. Infinity evolved. Gaze upon a new infinity.
It begins with a single shot. In this new world, everyone is a combatant. And every place is a battlefield. Lands will crumble. People will suffer. And skies will shatter. But amid great evil, a light of hope shines ever bright. Shadowverse, worlds beyond, legends rise.
And now, the world lies within your grasp. So, won't you take my hand?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Shadowverse Open 2025 Kickoff Finals. We just got done with the quarterfinals matches. Now, on to semis. Our first match for semifinals is going to be IEV Rs21, veteran Shadowverse player, 2020 June SVO SEAO, second place, up against Graa, a name that I'm not really familiar with. Let's take a look at the head-to-head. We already took a look at the deck list earlier back during the quarterfinals, so if you're curious about what they're running, just scroll through the VOD. But, you know, we want to get straight into the action on today's games here. So just to give a quick recap, ours is the only person playing Wardhaven and the only person playing Mid-Range Abyss, a very unique lineup. Meanwhile, Graa is on the ever-popular Roach Forest craft, very efficient and effective in the hands of a pro player, as well as the only person running Aggro Abyss. So unfortunately, one of the Abysses will be out this round. The players are ready. Shall we just get into it, Chris?
Let's get into it. It's time for the top four, the semifinals. Let's see which one of these two players will be the first one to lock in a final slot.
And the fact that, you know, two Abysses in the semis, kind of amazing. Oh, Wardhaven in the semis, amazing as well. Rs21 showing everybody how it's done with the Wardhaven. And what a snipe! This is exactly why you bring Wardhaven in the first place against Roach Forest Craft. The Roach just cannot break through the wall, at least in theory. Let's take a look at how the game actually pans out.
Yeah, this is going to be a crazy one. Pretty good early hand for ours as well. And I mean, we saw ours just perform really, really well. He's the only person so far to 2-0 their top 8 game. So I'm curious to see if that's going to be a repeat in this top 4. Or
not only 2-0ing the top 8 game, but also 9-0 in total across the playoffs to now. Kind of insane.
Mm-hmm. It's like, no matter how you spin it, this player right now is looking pretty good in contention to make it to finals. But we're going to see what Graa has. Of course, Graa made an insane comeback in that match in their top 8 game. So Godwood staff comes down. So far, both players are like seeing everything they want on tempo. Everything's on curve. Pretty good.
I will say, very curious
right now, though, is the biggest. Sorry, just the Wilbert. Still missing in action. All I wanted to point out.
And the Ether as well. I will say, very interestingly, ours mulliganed away a 2-drop and then had no turn 2 play. I'm not sure if that was optimal, but it turned out okay just because being able to engage the Serene Sanctuary just lets you get that draw power anyway. Maybe ours is just looking for Wilbert, and that's all that matters. And honestly, I agree. There's Wilbert, by the way, as we called it.
Man himself, man of the hour.
And you see ours got a smile, $1 million smile on his face right now as the Grimnir plus guard combo comes off to deal with the board. And now we got a turn 6 Grimnir. All we're missing is a turn 7 Ether, but even without a turn 7 Ether, a turn 7 Odin might just do the trick as well.
That's true. I mean, as long as you get the Wilbert down and it doesn't get banished, you're safe. And you know that in this specific matchup, you are safe from that banish. There's no random Odins in these forest lists that can take it out. And so that means you're going to get not just the crest, but also the 2 bodies are going to come out of it and get that buff.
It's even worse if the Ether comes out, giving everything Aura, because that means they can't be targeted by Limaga. But here, the only out is going to be Glade, and even that doesn't even get close to full clearing. Like the bodies are just too big.
Yeah, this is especially of the sequence in which the damage gets pushed is also quite unfortunate. So therefore, you're gonna have to swing this in, and yeah, the 2-4 remains.
Double draw off of Godwood. The Roach does not get burned. Very
Thank
importantly, but no 0 costs. We do have 3 carbuncles in hand, but no zeros. Kind of an awkward little hand here.
Yeah, that's true. But then again, having double bug alert is going to help a little bit. But right now, we need something to, add to that bug alert, right? You want the Roach to at least be hitting a few points of attack before you start bouncing it.
Yeah, this is actually kind of a weird turn for ours, too, because, like, the Odin isn't free because, like, they still have 2 Godwoods up. If you Divine Thunder plus Shield Maiden, that's kind of a low tempo turn as well. I don't really love it, but I kind of want to get a board up in advance anticipating a Jean. I think the Divine Thunder is the most efficient clear, and then aggressively evolving the Cavalier, leaving the Sarissa behind. Interesting.
I think that's not bad. Like, I think the Evo was very tempting to go into, and at the end of the day, as long as your ward is above 4 defense, at the very least, you are evading the damage from the Bale.
True. And also, like, with 6, it also evades a full kill from Carbuncle off the top as well. So that's also
true as well, yeah.
But the problem is that it's a Ward Haven deck, but the hand's looking a little light. This Sanctuary is not going to pop off for at least another 2 turns. I'm a little concerned.
You committed one of the play points there, but chose instead put down the Sarissa, and she's going to get answered too.
Yeah, right. 1 bug alert just does it, so. Or double fairies.
Yeah, whichever one works. Ooh, we're going to see a Roach coming here for some damage.
I love it. If you think about it,
we're splitting it. I like it.
That Roach isn't going in if they Ether. You got to get the damage in while you can, right?
Exactly. They expect the Ether and didn't come through. What's next? Holy Shield Maiden to, like... I mean, the thing is, Shield Maiden really doesn't do so much in this matchup because you just need to trade 1 fairy in to pop the aura, and then it's pretty easy to clear out the rest of the body. Sorry, yeah, the barrier, my bad.
But, like, it's also not... Like, the Odin isn't free. You're not putting up a ward. If you Odin here, like, you leave yourself up to Roach Lethal next turn. But if you Jean, you're not doing enough damage. Is Jean Super Evolve Sarissa the play? If you Super Evolve the Sarissa, it gains Barrier. So it can't get destroyed easily by Glade either.
Oh, looks like that is indeed the play. The Barrier is so huge here. And
that's so huge, especially with the Lily Burn that we just saw. That's huge.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is going to be actually quite tricky now for Graa to take out. Glade is good, but Glade is not enough.
Now, Glade literally does 0 damage here. Because the way the calculation works is that Glade calculates 10 health on the Sarissa, so it does all 9 to the Sarissa, but it gets pinged by the barrier, so it's 0 damage is dealt. Glade does nothing.
Eats the entire damage burst. Olivia is going to be the answer, but it's not really an answer to this board. Finds a second Roach, and these last 2 play points, would have to cause a miracle, but I'm afraid it's not enough right now.
It's not enough. Like, all you can do is take out the Sarissa barrier. And remember, if you take out that John, the Sarissa grows into a 9/11 stat.
This...
It's over!
It's just a pass.
Just an absolute
Ours
domination.
This ours' Haven list is just going... It's like... It's basically just tearing up the entire competition. Doesn't matter what deck it is. We've seen it go up against Roach. We've seen it go up against Spell Boost. It's going through everything and just winning. It's incredible.
I don't know about you, but I'm taking notes, dog, because everybody was sleeping on this Wardhaven until now. We even predicted a downturn in Wardhaven usage going from two deck best of 1 into 2-deck best of 3. But not ours, man. Ours found the line. Ours found the way to make it work. And now queuing into mid-range Abysscraft against aggro Abysscraft. I don't love this matchup for Graa either, especially if just ours, all he has to do is find Aragavi once, I think. That being said, the aggressive line from Graa is not bad, but with no barrel, the only 2-drop being Mummy is not great, actually.
Yeah, that's a good point. We're seeing here the really early use of the extra play point here just to have a way to answer the field out here, make sure they're still ahead on the bodies on board. And now it's going to be Gas de Soiree, Skeleton, just try to like answer, like make sure you're at least equal in terms of what is present on the board here.
This all goes face, of course. You are an aggro deck after all. Force the answer, but the top deck Shadow Crypt Memorial lets ours clear this board, leaving nothing up into Graa's turn 4. And that also, like, it unfortunately does. Oh, yeah, instead goes for Grimnir, putting a ward up in the face of this. It's a little risky, but it paid off. I was going to say it was risky because if Graa had Vuela, it was a really okay turn for them. But with no Vuela, Graa has to spend their entire turn dealing with this Grimnir and, like, only pushing 2 to the dome. That being said, it didn't go horribly wrong, but that could have been really punishing if the Vuela was there.
Yeah, this would have been a completely different look for ours, but it's kind of working out. The other thing is that Graa is starting to run low on gas. The only card in this hand they can draw into other pieces is the Olivia, and we might just get into top deck mode pretty soon because the shadows are at 0. It's looking a little dire for next turn specifically on Graa's side.
No, that's just aggro decks, baby. You top deck Aragavi turn 5, you top deck Aragavi turn 6, and then you're golden.
I wasn't familiar with your game, I'm afraid.
I mean, how does ours efficiently clear this board in the first place, though, right? Like, you Rotting Zombie evolve the zombie into the Mummy? That is the most resilient play against Aragavi, so I think you have to do it.
I mean, the zombie's quite annoying in this matchup, no? Because it's 2 bodies you have to take care of in a deck that doesn't want to be touching any of them, right? It wants to be going all the way face. And, okay, this extra...
I think you leave it alone. I think you hard evolve go face here as Graa. You just leave the zombie up.
That's exactly what Graa's doing.
Ooh, another pretty good top from ours here. Securing Orthrus means this is a full clear while leaving a fully statted 4/4 ward up, right? You Shadow Crypt, trade the 2 ghosts, Orthrus evolve.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you can technically also you can run 1/1 into 1/1, and then the 1/1 into the 3/2, and then you make sure that the Orthrus stays alive with 4/3, which is also quite good.
No, the Orthrus will get 4/4. Will live at 4/4 because the 2 damage random will go into the 3/3 either way. So you just trade both ghosts, and then unless you want to go face with 1 ghost, I guess that's an option.
Yeah, that's
I think he does. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh, punished.
Ooh, okay, took the gamble, but gets to actually push a bit of the damage. I think in this matchup too, is because you're playing against Storm, you kind of have to take these gambles sometimes. And it's like at the end of the day, the one defense means they're gonna have to commit a Ghost and or this Vuela, right? And if they commit the Vuela, you're pretty happy.
And I don't know if that was a 4-4, that Vuela wouldn't have traded evenly. So that gamble.
Fair point.
That, I mean, it was technically a in favor gamble, but you know, you can't win them all. I guess that's fine. Oh, you extra play point Odin here 100% of the time, right?
I'm just thinking if there's any other like next turn, Graa only has 7 damage from the Odin, and there shouldn't be anything else that gets that extra damage. So if you Odin here, you get to push 11 damage to face. The only thing is, and then next turn you win off of the Shadow Crypt double Ghosts Rage of Serpent.
Yeah, because remember, Rage of Serpent damage deals damage to the opponent first before it deals damage to you. So if you're in lethal range of the self ping, you will still win because the damage will be dealt to the opponent first. This is the only winning play because now if they Odin back, Odin is the biggest amount of damage that Graa can do, and it's not lethal. It's 1 off. Can you believe it? So.
They live in, they have to draw into 2-drop, and they don't. Oh no! Oh my god! Thank God.
No, they got barrel.
Ooh. They
got barrel, but the barrel deals damage back. That's the problem. And it doesn't full clear because that zombie stays alive.
And that's why we said at the very beginning. We said that at the very beginning that the zombie is going to be very annoying in this matchup because of the recurring body.
Yep, this is chopped.
Look at that. There it is, the 2 damage from the Ghost. Just evolve, and you've got it all. Ours continues to be undefeated as they lock in their spot at the finals.
Not only 10-0 across sets, but undefeated within sets in this top 8. Ours showing a level of dominance very rarely seen in competitive play and carrying it through. Guys, need I remind you, this is the first international tournament for Worlds Beyond, and we're already seeing a player of this caliber eat it like it's just a basic sandwich for lunch. Like, it's unreal. Like, ours showing why he's the GOAT, baby. That's all I gotta say about it.
Ours might have gained a fan right here. I feel like I currently have a favorite that I want to see, especially with this unconventional lineup. I feel like Ward was a deck that so many people did not really rate that highly going into the tournament season. And honestly, it's looking the best out of all of them right now. And I think like some of the words, like I wonder what will it take to even inconvenience ours at this point, because he hasn't dropped a single game today.
Yep, it's absolutely unreal. That being said, we are going to head straight into our second semifinals. Now, this is pretty interesting because we actually haven't seen Maxibon play all day yet. So hopefully I'll take a look at their deck lists as well if we got those graphics up. But, you know, let's just take a look at the bracket real quick to see where we're at and where we're headed. So right now we got the, you know, as you see here, ours just on a complete tear on the upper half of the bracket. Now in the bottom half, it's Itsuki Kaname versus Maxibon 1, 2, 3, 4. Maxibon went straight into top 4 due to a bye. Let's take a look at their list if we're able to take a look. We already saw Itsuki Kaname's lists from the quarterfinals, but just a quick refresh here in the chat, it was Roach Forest and Midrange Sword. Now let's take a look at Maxibon. What are they playing? Let's take a look at the list. It's actually Roach Forest and Spell Boost Rune.
All right. Let's take a look at some of these differences. Oh, the Roach list is a little bit different with the Fairy Fencer there. I do like that card myself, being basically a 1-drop 2/2. That's very easy to get out. On the Spell Boost side, it looks relatively conventional for the most part.
Let's take a look. Yeah, we get the one of Edelweiss technology, but other than that, yeah, pretty standard. No Penelopes, only the Melvies, and then you just, you know, 2 Burgent, 1 Kakaitis. Yeah, clean and simple. I will say the Forestcraft list is also interesting in that it lacks Limaga. We're just going all in on the combo. You don't need to stall the opponent, just win on turn 7, right? So that's all there is to it.
The crazy part about the Forest is there's not a single legendary card in it.
That's what I love about that deck. But it's pretty funny, too. There's like a dichotomy there insofar as it's the cheapest competitive deck to build, but it's also the hardest to play. So, like, you want to recommend a cheap competitive deck to new players, but also they have to be, you know, playing out of their gourd to maximize it. So it's kind of like a trade-off there. That being said, let's take a look. The players are currently in the lobby. They're just deciding what to queue up first. Maxibon 1, 2, 3, 4 versus Itsuki Kaname. Maxibon I'm not familiar with, but once again, just to remind the viewers, Itsuki Kaname, I believe, is a Shadowverse content creator, been playing the game for a while here. So let's take a look and see who comes out on top in this match. This is the match to decide who goes up against ours in the grand finals, right? So this is pretty important here. And need I remind y'all that every single game is a money match, and the winner gets to go to the champion of the entire tournament gets to go into World Grand Prix. So let's take a look. Semifinals number 2, Maxibon with the Roach Mirror against Itsuki right off the bat.
Ooh, okay, we finally get ourselves a Roach Mirror in here. This is going to be pretty exciting to take a look. Yeah, we've basically had always forced versus something else, I think, in every single game we've had so far in this tournament. This is the first time we see a mirror in general, no. I think everything we've had today, except for the one time we had the 2 Abyss lists, but those are both different archetypes.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see who comes out on top. A lot of this is gonna be down to the individual techs, also hand quality, of course, and with Roach specifically, execution. I love Itsuki Kaname's hand right now. That being said, both of them were able to get the Roach early here.
Yeah, this is gonna be, man, it's gonna be just like, we're gonna watch them farm, build up resources, build up zero costs, and then it's just gonna be over in a flash.
Mm-hmm. That being said, Maxibon's list is a little more aggressive with no Limaga and Fairy Fencer instead. We don't just see the Fairy Fencer come out here just as a tempo play. We also saw Itsuki extra play point out a Lily here just to contest board, knowing that if he lets chip damage through, that's just less work that a Roach has to do, right? So pretty heads up to... Yeah, pretty heads up. And now, the Bug Alert able to clear the board and then go into a turn 3 Godwood here. I think what Maxibon is thinking is that I have to, with no Godwood himself, it's tough, but like if he doesn't present threat here, he does just give Itsuki a free turn to Godwood. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like if there's no threat presented from Maxibon's side, a free Godwood turn for Itsuki might just mean that he has the resource advantage the whole game, right?
Yeah, Maxibon's doing the calculations already. It's pretty tough because the one fairy is also, while it is presenting that pressure, as you said, it's also a component for future combos. But I think at this very moment, it is worth to commit it because this is the turn where the Godwood staff comes down, and being able to kind of not let them play that on tempo if they want to answer it is also very good.
For Itsuki, I guess the consideration is, do I Godwood Staff now or Fairy Tamer? But I think with turn 4 Fairy Tamer double Fairy, the Godwood Staff here is very good. Because you get an Evolve too because you're going second, so there's pretty much nothing you can't clear with Fairy Tamer double Fairy next turn.
Yep, also getting the draw active as well, so
yeah.
Getting the best of both worlds. Fairy Fencer's been putting in work just as a 2-2, and really just going for the board presence here for Maxibon, trying to see if they can answer the threats. And of course, Glade is going to help to answer any of the wider boards, but that being said, I mean, he's the one actually presenting the wider board here.
That's right. Oh, going for a Lily instead means that there's a potential to not activate the Godwood this turn. I wonder if Fairy Tamer double Fairy was better there, but this is still fine.
Just for the draw. It's like, the thing is, though, that it feels like Itsuki Kaname does have the parts for a good Roach turn. We do have a way to make a zero cost in this hand. And it's like, if you're expecting the Glade, then maybe not committing too much means you're not going to lose as much in return. So that could have been the thought process behind that turn.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Without guaranteed generators, to the fairies that he conserved is the only way to deal with Glade. You're absolutely correct. Yeah, I think Itsuki was right in this play. That just goes to show you why they're playing Roach and I'm here on the casting desk. Am I right?
Yeah, 100, dude. I'm the same, man. The Roach games are always like, it's the fact that you have to constantly be not just fighting against your opponent, but you're also fighting against this mystery second opponent that exists in the game, which is that little blue circle that keeps decreasing on the right-hand side.
True.
That timer might be your biggest op in the game when you're playing Roach, even more than your opponent in the finals.
It's also just like with Roach, right? The math is not the hardest part. The hardest part is what resources do you keep.
Yeah, it's everything leading up to it.
Mm-hmm. All right, Cairn is up with a zero-cost Deepwood in Maxibon's hand. That being said, no Godwood, but he does have 2 Gardens Allure to help draw into his combo pieces later. I will say Itsuki's hand is more immediately good with 1 Bale and a Cairn as well, and a way to bounce the Cairn too. So
The other important thing is that Itsuki has the extra play points still left. That's also
true.
very, very important.
That represents additional damage. I think chipping with the Roach here is not a bad idea, because you just bounce it.
Because you can
with
Carbuncle
Carbuncle
and trade.
Yep. That's really strong. Any chip damage you're able to get in is less work your future Roach has to do, and now he even gets to Lambert Cairn set up a wide board while drawing with Godwood Staff and having a 0 cost for the Roach next turn. And 2 Roaches.
Ooh, the second Roach picked up. Oh my! I wonder if it's... Was there a line where you could have played that additional fairy? No, I guess not, huh? You're essentially just playing down the fairy just for the wide board, assuming they don't have a second Glade to back it up. And I mean, we know they don't, but this would technically be able to answer this entire board. But if they don't, then you get away with some pretty big tempo here.
Yeah, if even one of the sticks, right? It's just additional chip. Carbuncle trade? Do we see a Godwood commit? I think we have to.
Godwood Staff, awaken!
You do full
The
clear,
component
right?
collector
With
would be
Convoke.
good. Yes.
But if you
Convoke
Convoke, you're
clears.
not getting Cairn up. So do you just have to leave a 1/1 up? Is that the more efficient play? I feel like the Cairn is really important. So yeah, I think you do just leave 1/1 up, which is kind of tough. That's additional chip that you're leaving up on board potentially. And we know that Itsuki is comfortable using Roaches just to deal chip.
100%. I mean, oh, the bug alert. This could be huge. Got 1. He doesn't have a second Carbuncle, so there isn't
Yeah,
another.
Bale's
way
still
to-
at 5
Ah.
too, which is a little awkward, right?
And also the fact that Itsuki also has used the extra play point now, so that is also technically now out of question for boosting out more. Oh, we're gonna just make another 0 cost spell. I like it.
I think that is correct, yeah. And you have 2 Roaches in hand, so you can use 1 Roach now for chip, and then next turn OTK, right?
Exactly. Do we see them?
You also
go
heal.
even-
You also remember you heal up out of range of their Roach. That's why getting the Deepwood is really important. So is the play now? Yeah, double trade Roach face with 1 Deepwood. You Deepwood
Yeah, this
here,
is not
Roach
too bad
face.
because also you prevent yourself from overdrawing.
Interesting. Not using the Deepwood, saving it for the next turn OTK potential.
For my people!
Okay, and we're gonna just bounce here. I mean, because you basically have the
Oh, yeah,
the
that's
combo
lethal
that
next
you
turn,
need.
right?
Your Bale is gonna be active from just running in the 2 fairies. It's gonna go
Yeah,
down
yeah,
to
yeah. I was
0.
just gonna say that's really heads up. Itsuki bouncing the Roach there means that the 2 fairies make Bale 0 cost. So now you have 2 fairies plus 2 0 cost plus 2 Roaches on 8 play points exactly. So that's
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 6, 11 damage, which is exactly full if they don't heal.
On the other hand, Maxibon here.
Yeah, this is exactly full, right? Yeah.
Yep, did not have
Fairy,
enough. This is gonna be it.
Fairy,
Heal for
Deepwood,
0.
Deepwood, Bale, Roach is exactly full, I believe.
Yep. There we see all 3 Rhinoceroches. I feel like one of these roaches must be Azure Clouds, man. I swear to God.
Don't say that, man. But yeah, that's exact. All according to Keikaku translator note. Keikaku means plan. And that means 11 going to the dome for exact. Like, Itsuki Kaname set that lethal up 2 turns in advance, and you see why Roach is the hardest deck to pilot, man.
Dude, it's the crazy part that, like, when you're playing the mirror, you have to always think about your own math, right? You have to think about your own calculation. You have to think about your own roaches. But at the same time, you have to keep track of what your opponent's played and not played and think about how big that's going to make their combo turn. Dude, it's like the mirror is one of the main reasons why I would not dare to bring Roach into tournaments, because it's just, there's just way too much, especially when you got to play so many rounds.
I don't disagree, but you know, some people live off of it, man. They love it. That's why some people just only play Roach. And to those people, I salute you. Could never be me.
Yeah, man. The first time I ever got GM back in original Shadowverse was actually with Roach. But that Roach was easier than this one.
Yeah. Oh, pretty aggressive hand from Itsuki Kaname, and we see a turn 4 Zirconia lined up for this sword as well, which is one of the power plays that we haven't seen this tournament yet. That with that Zirconia locked down for turn 4, it gave Itsuki Kaname the freedom to immediately use the extra play point for an aggressive turn 1 play. So that entire opening hand dictated the entire game here. That being said, do you sink 2 knights into this 2-1? Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah,
Why not sink the... Wait. Why not sink the knight and then the 1-2 goes face? Wouldn't have that just been better?
Yeah, that is a little bit of a question mark. Would have been the difference of 1 damage. Ooh, the Prim with the Quick Blader here is really not bad.
Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing off the top, right? Because again, like we mentioned earlier, the ambush means that it's also just a free buff that they can't answer unless they have ambush from above here for Zirconia to deal even more chip. Why didn't he just trade the knight and then go face for 1?
Maybe just in the moment, right? It's like you're 1 win away from making it to finals, right?
Oh.
There's lots going through your mind. Sometimes it's just those small little, just quick misdecisions that can happen, or just a misclick as well, right? But we're gonna see the baby carbuncle here, but I don't think you want to.
Are we though?
Carbuncle right here. That's
no,
the draw.
Nothing in Maxibon's hand deals with this board. That's the crazy thing. A Zirconia next turn would literally just win the series for Itsuki Kaname. He has to draw for it.
Oh, the May.
This is the
really
world's
important.
great. Itsuki Kaname taking a big sip before he just lands the juiciest Zirconia of all time right here.
All right. Inhale, let's go. This is so big.
The Glade is not even gonna... The Glade deals with most of this? No, it doesn't even... The Glade doesn't even kill the Zirconia. Right?
Yeah, this is because you're
Glade draws up to 8. Yeah. It wouldn't even. You have to use Lily instead. That's the only option. That's so rough, man.
Dude. And like this is still gonna leave up so much on this board too. Fairies are
still
fighting for their lives as we speak, but still 4/4 in stats.
That's 6 damage on board, depending on what gets drawn. Oh, interesting. I think you do just play everything, and then next turn you do just go face here, play everything.
Yeah, it does sound like you just continue to put down threats, and now you.
I don't think you even
Odin
trade. You just present the threat. Yeah. That's absolutely correct. Glade does full clear? No. Yes, it does. Glade full clears single-handedly.
Yeah. This is just 7 defense on board.
Yeah.
It's like exactly enough to clear. Which you might be thinking that is a good way to go about it, but when you know that Itsuki Kaname can boost an extra play point next turn because
they literally extra play point Odin lethal if they don't heal here. This is some of the most dominant sword gaming I've seen here.
Oh, there's no heal. There's no play points left to present a heal. This is gonna just go for the clear. Make the 3 damage go to face. Garden's Allure Fuse to make sure you don't overdraw, but Odin needs to boost the play point.
Easiest, juiciest Odin. I don't know what to tell you. Zirconia is him. Or her, I guess. Zirconia is her. You just can't, you can't sleep.
This is crazy.
Whoa.
Itsuki Kaname locks in the final spot with a 2-0 victory over Maxibon. Maxibon has literally been here this entire tournament, watching all of the top 8s and just waiting to be able to play. But Itsuki Kaname just walked in there and was like, oh, sorry, kept you waiting. Just whoop, into the next finals. Crazy.
Pretty amazing. Man, dominant performance there. Congratulations to Maxibon for making it this far, but unfortunately, this tournament is single elimination. So once you're out, you're out. And that means we have our grand finals. Let's take a look at the bracket. It's going to be ours 21 from Team IEV versus Itsuki Kaname, who's been in this community for a long time. So 2 veterans in the grand finals, man. We got to get the new blood to wake up, fight back is all I'm saying. But yeah, well, I need I remind you all too, not only does the grand finalist get 1,500 USD versus the second place is 800, so it's a $700 money match, but also the winner of this tournament gets a full qualification to Shadowverse World Grand Prix this December, where the grand prize is 100 million yen. So we're about to see our first qualifier from international tournaments, barring the ones who auto-qualified from last year's circuit. This is going to be huge.
It's also what's crazy is that we're about to crown our first ever Worlds Beyond SVO champion in the history of this game. Worlds Beyond, we're going to look back in like 10 years, and one of these two might have, maybe this first victory will bring them very far in World Grand Prix as well. Maybe they'll become the next legend of Shadowverse worldwide.
It's true.
This is going to be a finals you don't want to miss, but we do have one last break so that the players have a second to prepare, calm down their nerves, get some water, make sure they're locked in for this finals. And I want you guys watching at home as well, make sure you take that 5-minute break, and I want you back here because this finals is going to be one to remember when we get back after this break.
Shield Maiden, that's kind of a low tempo turn as well. I don't really love it, but I kind of want to get a board up in advance anticipating a Jean. I think the Divine Thunder is the most efficient clear, and then aggressively evolving the Cavalier, leaving the Sarissa behind. Interesting. That Jean, the Sarissa grows into a 9/11 stat.
It's
over.
It's just a pass.
Just an absolute domination.
Ours is Haven list is just going Ghosts, Rage of Serpent.
Yeah, because remember, Rage of Serpent damage deals damage to the opponent first before it deals damage to you. So if you're in lethal range of the self ping, you will still win because the damage will be dealt to the opponent first. This is the Yep, this is chopped.
Look at that. There it is, the 2 damage from the Ghost. Just evolve and you've got it all. Ours continues to be undefeated as they lock in their spot at the finals. Turn. So that could have been the thought process behind that turn.
Yeah, you're right. Without guaranteed generators, to the fairies that he conserved is the only way to deal with Blade. You're absolutely correct. Yeah, I think Itsuki was right in this play. Oh. Yeah, double trade Roach Face with 1 Deepwood. You Deepwood here, Roach Face.
Because also you prevent yourself from overdrawing.
Interesting. Not using the Deepwood, saving it for the next turn OTK potential.
Oh.
Deepwood, Bale, Roach is exactly full, I believe.
Yep. There we see all 3 Rhinoceroaches. I feel like one of these roaches must be Azure Clouds, man. I swear to God.
Don't say that, man. But yeah, that's exact. All according to Keikaku translator note. Keikaku means plan, and that means 11 going to the dome for exact. Like big sip before he just lands the juiciest zirconia of all time right here.
All right. Inhale, let's go. This is so big.
The Glade is not even gonna. The Glade deals with. Yeah, that's an Odin.
Waypoint.
Easiest, juiciest Odin. I don't know what to tell you. Zirconia is him or her, I guess. Zirconia is her. You just can't.
She is her,
You
that's
can't
right.
sleep.
This is crazy.
Whoa.
Itsuki Kaname locks in the final spot with a 2-0 victory.
Peace is a fragile thing, all too easily shattered and devoured with ravenous glee. So avert not your eyes. Stay ever vigilant, for new threats are ever lurking. Even should the world freeze over and time stand still, you must heed the call. You must awaken the infinite potential that slumbers within. Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. Infinity evolved. Gaze upon a new infinity.
It begins with a single shot. In this new world, everyone is a combatant. And every place is a battlefield. Lands will crumble. People will suffer. And skies will shatter. Amid great evil, a light of hope shines ever bright. Shadowverse, worlds beyond, legends rise.
And now, the world lies within your grasp. So, won't you take my hand?
Hello, everybody. Dude, I am shaking with the electricity that's happening right now because we are in the grand finals for the Shadowverse Open 2025 Kickoff Finals. And it is gonna be a match for the ages, all right? Because in the hot seat, it's IEV Rs 21. Previous Shadowverse Open 2020 June SEAO, second place. But in this tournament, undefeated in playoffs, undefeated in this tournament, top 8, but also undefeated within the sets as well, with an absolutely insane lineup of Wardhaven and Mid-Range Abyss. On the opposite side, longtime community member and content creator Itsuki Kaname, who is playing out of his gourd this tournament with Roach Forest and Mid-Range Sword. One kind of typical lineup and one very unorthodox lineup. Who is going to come out on top? The players are already ready. Chris, shall we just hop into it? If you're looking for the deck list, by the way, we covered them over in quarterfinals, but right now we just want to get straight to the action, baby. So if you missed it, you can scroll back, but for now, let's just get into the game, man. I'm ready.
That's right. The players are ready. It's time to take a look one last time. Itsuki Kaname versus Rs 21. And it's time to see which of these two players is going to take it all and bring it home. It's been a crazy tournament. We've seen a lot of hype moments left and right. And I mean, Rs himself is basically hype moment incarnate, right? 2-0ing the entire bracket so far. Can he repeat it in the finals? Because, I mean, we just saw Itsuki do the same thing in the top 4 match. It's going to be a close one, I think.
And need I remind everybody in the chat right now I want you to give all your energy because the stakes for this game could not be higher. Not only is it a $700 US money match, because second place gets 800, but first place gets 1500. So yeah, $700 US dollar money match. But the winner also gets a direct qualification to Shadowverse World Grand Prix. So whoever wins this immediately gets qualified to the World Tournament in Japan, where the top prize is 100 million yen. Everything is on the line right here, right now. Like, if you get second, sure, you get $800, but it still feels really bad. So the stakes could not be higher.
This is not just a money match. This is the game that will decide who gets to join all the other legends in the World Grand Prix. And here we see a pretty good start for Itsuki Kaname, as while there is a good way to answer this board with the Salifa for ours, but it's not what you want in this early turn.
This is really tough for ours. Turn 3 pass into Itsuki Kaname having two bodies on board into Zirconia turn 4. This might already be chopped for ours. The Salefa will not even be able to full clear because the Zirconia is going to buff the Grimnir past the 3 damage threshold.
This is tough. The fact that I think you just pointed out the most important part, that the Grimnir will now evade the Salifa. And that
you know what that means, right?
Brutal.
That means that there's a ward in the way between Zirconia. Oh, what? Interesting.
Ooh, I like it.
If you evolve the Grimnir, it's more aggressive stats. Salefa still doesn't clear both bodies. Next turn, you can aggressive evolve Zirconia. Wait, Itsuki might be operating on another level. He's accessed the Akashic records, dude. I don't know how he came up with this play, but it's absolutely insane. We can see a Rose to clear this Salefa with a Seria into aggressive evolve Zirconia. Itsuki Kaname, he sees the source code. Call him Jake Gyllenhaal. This is insane.
This series of turns from Itsuki might have just potentially, at the very least, landed him half of a ticket into the World Grand Prix.
That being said,
but it's the damage that's been done.
Yeah, and next turn, Itsuki has the potential next Zirconia, or if he wants to play it safe, he can go Luminous. No, I think it's Zirconia for sure. Like, presenting another board after seeing 2 Salefas out of hand. No clear for ours until John, and presenting a board like this means that he can't freely play Wilbert either, right? Because this Wilbert, it answers the Zirconia, but if the sword gets Odin, it's like straight up cooked. No Odin though.
You can see it. The Bane is gonna come in handy here though. And then it just comes down to how you navigate the rest of the turn. There is no direct lethal here, I think, because the Albert's not doing enough either. Rose is going to come down. Ooh, double Banes.
Rose double. Yeah, so now you just trade 1/2/2. Rose, double Bane, go face for 4, 6. That's up to 9 damage.
I'm assuming. It's 6 to 9, but I'm assuming it's gonna be the 6. You wanna save that Super Evo for potential clear paired with a Grimnir, I think. And also, of course, you can extra play point boost into Albert next turn as well.
What? Commit it. Hard commit. This gets answered by Jean, but that doesn't heal. And with Tentacle in hand, it's an instant lethal.
Oh my god, Itsuki Kaname already trying to punch in the ticket to the World Grand Prix. Ours, what will you do? There are options,
just an incredible early game from Itsuki Kaname that led him to this position. Like that could not have been played better, I think.
Dude, that Grimnir turn, unbelievable.
Goodness gracious, man.
He's just thinking about it. I mean, it's like you have options, but Jean answers everything, but you're praying that they don't see the tentacles. It's a one of. What are the chances?
no,
There's no
or
way he has it.
Odin.
There's 27 cards in the deck.
There's Odin too. So I don't think there's any answer here.
Yeah.
The thing that covers most options is Ether Super, but not even that wins because it has to be Ether Super. It's the one that covers the most options, but we know the tentacles is in hand.
Exactly. Tentacles is the only thing this doesn't cover, and we know that Itsuki Kaname has it in hand.
God.
And all they gotta do is cast it to the face, and Itsuki Kaname takes the first game of the finals.
That's the first. Do you bleed? Okay, that's ours. Apparently, does bleed. The first loss in the entire top 8. Goodness gracious, Itsuki.
And what a
What a line! Like, actually seeing the source code is crazy, bro. I can't
believe it.
Insane.
Ooh,
All right,
but this is
now
gonna be hard mode for Itsuki.
it is indeed, because this Wardhaven is incredibly favored against Roach. I think the one saving grace might be a Limaga delaying a game, but does he keep the Limaga? It's a 7 cost. He does. He knows that's his out. That's the only way he can win this matchup is the Limaga.
I love it, dude. The thing is that if we take it with this Haven list, which I mean, of course, this is a favored matchup for Haven, that next mid-range Abyss list, how is it gonna match into the Roach? I feel like it's like if they see a lot of their early aggro, it might actually be a little bit tricky, but
It is really
That's like
tricky,
a one-match
especially
memory
because
team.
it is really tricky. The only way you can make it through, I believe, is just like spamming Charon in the mid game into spamming Ginyuzu in the late game, just to build a bajillion wards, right?
Yeah.
That's what we saw last time that ours took that game. But you know, it is going to be tough. That being said, I don't think this matchup is even free for ours either. I mean, it's very heavily favored, right? But with the Limaga, there is a chance that
100%.
Itsuki can make it through. Because, like, with Limaga, you lock the 2 biggest bodies while dealing chip. And then it also deals chip to the followers themselves, leaving it susceptible to Bale plus Roach lethal. That being said, it really just depends on if ours gets Wilbert into Ether on time, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, that
remaining draws-
Sarissa lived that turn.
Yeah, that is huge. And this Bellring is going to help the draw. Right now, like, drawing is the number 1 priority.
Pretty good.
That's so huge. Oh my god.
Wait. It might be I think it is Divine Guard Shredder, right? This Divine Guard, if it hits the 3-1,
Yeah.
it's huge. Unlucky.
It
But you
doesn't.
still just Shredder go face. This presents 2 wards. The Sarissa continues to grow. Forces a Glade. The Glade off the top!
Itsuki.
Dude, it had to be him.
It literally. Oh, but the Wilbert picked up. Dude, it feels like right now for both these players, their decks are answering to them. Every single. The one card they need at the exact timing, they draw it.
This is some real anime gaming right here. Like, drawing
The
that
hit
out,
sequence
man.
Shadowverse Flame is finally here. Only available on SVO.
Well, let's see if ours draws the Ether, right? That's the next option here.
You've called it. We know what's going to happen next.
No. That's not on me. That's not on me. That's not on me. I cannot accept responsibility for that.
We're considering. Are we really considering this Limaga here? I mean, you can technically play point boost into it, but it's not really going to be. I mean, the problem is that it's just there to delay the inevitable. So the May to clear, and now how are you going to take out these 2/2/4s?
Oh, you just use Carbuncle Super into Lily in hand, right? Lily plus Fairy?
Yep, we still have the
do
play
it?
points thanks to the Carbuncle now to. But the problem is board space, huh?
Yeah, that's a bit odd, right?
You lose out on the storm damage from the not the storm damage, but the damage from the fairy. But
I guess you just sack the
think
damage
you're-
from the Fairy, yeah.
yeah,
Because you want to land Cairn here 100%, I believe.
exactly. I think that's what they're
wait.
really trying to go for, just to get. The
No,
spell,
Roach
no?
Bounce is way too ambitious here, I feel like. You have to land Cairn.
It's only 5 damage too.
he doing? Oh, wait.
Representing
Oh,
the
wait!
board.
That's true!
Roaching.
If you're expecting Ether next turn, you have to Roach now.
Oh, this is such a heads-up play.
No.
This is also just... This basically forces out the AoE board clear to commit from the Unholy Vessel. And because they know each other's decks, this is also basically saying, like, oh, you're going to commit the Vessel here. The problem is that if the Vessel did get committed, this would basically have not given much follow-up to Itsuki, but instead of going for the Cleric.
No, this is almost full clear, right? Grimnir up.
Because
No,
of the
it's
Grimnir.
not
Because of the
quite.
Grimnir.
Yeah, it leaves Lily. That's okay though, right?
Yeah.
With 2 wards.
And
think
especially
like
with these
Maga now.
stats, too. The one thing is that the
Itsuki-
Lamaga... Go on.
No, I was just gonna say Itsuki sacking Godwood means he has no endgame now. It has to be Limaga.
Yeah, yeah,
it's
that's
the
the
only
thing.
way he gets damage in.
It's the damage and also it's the threat right now coming down too. The only thing is because this board is just tall, it does get just answered by Odin. Things Odin isn't even a full clear. The 1/1 here is trouble, so yeah, Salafas here gonna be the big play. Grimnir coming in for the second ward,
Grimnir
and
soup.
you do get
This is a full clear, isn't it?
Yeah, this is actually
Because Grimnir effect will, yeah. You don't even need the Grimnir effect, but yeah, it is enough. 4 wards
thank
in
God.
play. Godwood, no Roach. I think I think ours has pulled it through.
Yeah, I mean, this
Just.
was not a favorable matchup in the first place,
Yeah.
but it's just gonna be the game 3, and that's just how it had to be between these two players. We're
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
see ours tie it up.
Finals? You kidding me? It had to be. It had to go this way. Roach versus Mid-Range Abyss for the final game of the first International Worlds Beyond tournament. Are you ready? Can the Mid-Range Abyss pull this off? We've seen ours do it before, right? With Charon into Ginyuzu. But can it be the same in this finals match against Itsuki, who is playing out of his gourd the entire day?
Chat,
Against
I need you to
very
make
strong
some
players,
noise.
too.
If you want ours to win, you gotta spam his name right now in the chat. If
That's
you're on the
right.
side of Itsuki Kaname, show your support because this is it. The final game. Winner goes to WGP.
By the way, I was also informed recently Itsuki Kaname's run was not easy because Maxibon, a professional player from a different card game as well. Lots of people coming into Shadowverse Worlds Beyond here. So, like, the gauntlet that each of these players had to go through, absolutely insane, culminating in this final match. This is the game that decides who goes to World Grand Prix from this tournament. Can you believe it? Now, looking at the hand here, ours has a great early game. Extra play point Fildao to get a 2-drop in the pool for Charon Reanimate, into 2 play point Soiree Skeleton to get a 0-cost pool for the Charon Reanimate. This gives him a board full of ward spam going from turn 3 Grimnir into turn 4 Vela plus Ghost into Charon. Then you have just wards up the entire game if you're able to draw into Ginyuzu. But let's see if it
That's
you know.
huge. This tempo that ours is building up is gonna be massive. The thing is that Itsuki's hand, while it doesn't have the crazy draw power, it has all of the gas with the fairies right now. And so
That's
as long as
true.
we can not run out of that gas, we should be pretty good because this May answers everything.
That's right. That's a wide board
Wide.
too.
Love to see it. This is going to be the first Evo turn here now available for ours. Going to commit the second Grimnir to try to deny with that ward.
Well,
Still
the
being
first
able to-
turn 3 he played Vuela, so this is the first Grimnir, but it does work out.
True.
Now this is a ward in the way that he has to answer into Charon, and Charon makes 2 wards. And remember that Charon reanimates Fildao, which means Fildao can evolve for a 2-for-1 as well. So genuinely really strong curve here for ours, but he doesn't have the late game that I want to see to win this matchup. Because with no Ginyuzu, I don't think there's any way to not die to Roach by turn 8 or turn 9.
Yep. The Ginsetsu Yuzuki is an absolute huge power play. For now, Karen's going to do a pretty good job, but it's what comes after this that we want to see.
That being said, with no Glade in hand, is Itsuki forced to commit Bail this early on? Ooh! Carbuncle might just save him.
Yeah, the Carbuncle is actually huge. That's also like the big source of your damage, and also being able to create another 0-cost spell.
Yeah, that's really big. Super. Oh, you can't super evolve the Bunkle though, but like just being able to get the Lambent Cairn back is really important.
Yeah, this is gonna give you the full clear. You do lose out on one of your.
Do you have to commit Bail? No, he's just leaving it up. But
Okay.
leaving up the Charon means that the zombie gets ward. And if the zombie dies and Charon lives, the second zombie gets ward too. That's pretty big.
If ours wants to, I mean, your evolve points are very valuable in this deck, but you could technically obtain the crest here as well, because your 3-pool is quite strong, and the Vuela is going to get buffed from the super evil because the Vuela is on the board now.
Yeah,
this is 9 damage.
And remember, like I said, that zombie gets ward too because the Charon stayed alive. That's pretty massive, man.
These reanimate 3s are going to be so big in these future turns too. Limaga's your only option. You need to delay things.
If Vuela is the reanimate target and not the zombie, next turn's Olivia goes super crazy.
Oh my god. You're so right.
Gotta get through the wards.
Yeah, the reanimating wards, they don't stop.
That Limaga doing crazy work though.
Yeah, she's been the MVP so far.
It's Grimnir.
Mm.
Not quite, not quite.
Missed the 50-50 on the reanimate 3, but
It was more like a 33%, right? It was Grimnir, Zombie, or Vuela, but yeah.
that's true.
Well, technically, in this game, amounts destroyed do affect the probability. So it actually had like a 50% chance of resing Zombie. So, yeah. Grimnir's not the worst outcome.
Yeah,
You just sink a Medusa to clear this too? That is kind of weak, though. And you know they have 2-0
like doing more with it, right? Olivia's not too bad because you have a good 2-drop to follow it up with.
The problem with Olivia here is that, he gets the Gin Yuzu into an extra play point! You just filled out double clear!
Yep.
Next turn, you Gin Yuzu for 4 wards!
This is so big. Especially in this matchup, it is so huge here. And even answering this current board with the hand that Izuki has is already going to be quite difficult.
The Charon being super evolved. The Charon being super evolved means it doesn't take damage from Limaga when it's ours' turn. That's crazy. So it's actually really hard to be dealt with. With no Lily in hand too. Like if there was a Lily, maybe, but with no Lily.
That's the worst part. Not finding the draw power to find those pieces is what's making it so difficult. But I'm afraid this might be a bit of a tall ask from Itsuki Kaname. We're gonna see the Roach coming in.
Wait, Roach bounce Roach? It's not enough, right?
Not enough.
That's 7 attack, 2 off. Limaga Pring for 1 damage. It's 1 off.
Yeah,
Limaga
the
Pring,
one
right?
body has remained. The 1 is left.
1 off!
And with the 1 life, the 1 chance, ours is gonna take it and lock in the ticket to the World Grand Prix.
Absolutely unbelievable performance from ours. Undefeated in playoffs, undefeated in top 8 with Ward Haven and mid-range Abyss, a lineup nobody saw coming. Against a field full of runes, swords, and roaches, ours proved, with a little bit of engineering, you can figure anything out. Just an incredible showing. Honestly, just hats off. Congratulations, ours going through, winning not only $1,500 but also securing a slot at World Grand Prix later this year to go to Japan and compete for the 100 million yen. Absolutely insane, dominating performance. I'm taking notes, man, because I've been sleeping on Wardhaven, okay? I've been a mid-range Abyss believer, but I've been sleeping on Wardhaven, and after today, I feel like I'm a new man, all right? I've been reborn after seeing that performance. Let's take a look at the bracket. Just an insane run of competition here. Not only did we have veteran players like ours, Azure Cloud, and Itsuki Kaname. We also had pro players from other card games, Maxibon and Invade Mystery, and then 2 new names, Eerie and Graa, all competing for the top. But at the end of the day, ours is the one that takes it through with an unconventional lineup, undefeated over the course of 2 days. Insane.
It's hard to believe, but if you voted for ours from the beginning of the tournament after seeing that first top 8 against Azure Cloud of all people, right? That's already a veteran of the scene that's been winning and topping countless times. That, I think, was the first indicator that maybe we're onto something here, but ours took it all the way, and we're also going to get ours in here for an interview to hear about. I mean, I just want to know how it feels. Like, at the end of the day, this was the first ever tournament for Worlds Beyond, and, you know, it's completely unexplored grounds, right? Even in the past when we had Shadowverse Opens, they were usually run in different formats. We had 3 decks, we had bans. This was like a very different playing ground. But here with 2 decks, 0 ban, and also the day 1 format being completely different too, it's honestly really, I just want to hear how that prep period went and how those games went throughout this entire process, not just today, because ours really took it. I mean, huge shout outs to Itsuki Kaname as well, because they put up a really good fight. We went all the way to game 3 and both of them looked, I mean, in their respective brackets, they looked unstoppable, honestly. And like when it came to the finals, it was hard to say who's going to take it, but it came down to the wire and ours was the one that was favored.
All right, we're getting ours in for the interview now. Very shortly, but guys, if you thought this tournament was hype, do not fret, because that is not the end of SVO, baby. Go to svo.gg right now to see the upcoming tournaments we have cooking, because in just 1 week, we have the Shadowverse Open Qualifier 1. And in Shadowverse Open Qualifier 1, that's one of the tournaments that leads into Shadowverse Open Grand Finals, and that also gets you a ticket into World Grand Prix. So we got several weeks of very intense competition, pretty much nonstop from now until November, leading into World Grand Prix in December. So again, that's svo.gg, svo.gg, to get all the news on the upcoming tournaments. Also to make sure to open the Shadowverse Open Discord as well to get all the live updates from the production team. But yeah, just an incredible tournament today, Chris. I could not be happier with the quality of games we saw today. And just hoping to get a word in from Rs21 himself, because just an incredible performance, honestly.
Yeah, that was crazy. Like, it's wild to think that we get to see this kind of action next week again. Like, isn't that ridiculous?
Incredible. Oh, I think we have him in the room here. All right, we're ready. Let's take it over to Rs21. First of all, congratulations! The first player qualifying to World Grand Prix. And I know it's not easy, because it's, what, 3 a.m. for you right now? And you were still making those crazy plays. First of all, I just wanted to ask you, why did you bring the lineup you brought, and did you expect it to perform as well as it did?
Yes, so for the Abyss one, that's my main ladder deck, so I just brought that in. And then in choice of, I think like, I think there are like hard counter for, I believe there are hard counter for Rune, which is Roach and Aggro Abyss. And then for Roach itself, there is gonna be the Wardhaven, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try playing Roach and see how does that happen. It didn't end well. I didn't learn anything. So okay, teach the Roach light up. And then I was like, yeah, let's just go with Wardhaven. And then it's like, and by that means I was like, okay, so entire playoff, if I ever see Rune Graph, I'll just in the best of one, I'll just play Abyss for the entire run. That deck still have a little bit chance against Rune, at least better than Wardhaven. And then in the PO3, I was like, okay, any Rune that goes in, I'll just let it go. If I win that, okay, that's fine. But But if Rune draw everything, yeah, okay, that's Rune. That's free win. That's it. I'm countering anything else, basically. Yeah.
But yeah, in the end, it worked out, man. An unconventional lineup that ended up going really well against a lot of the field. Roach Forest, obviously, a huge uptick in play rate. And that Wardhaven pick just ended up sneaking up on people. Just amazing performance, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I was like, let's not. Yeah, I was like between drone. Yeah, in packet between drone and roach, I was like, okay, I need to snipe one of this because I had a chance to snipe it, and I don't want to lose when I had the chance to snipe it. I pick roach and okay, so I need to bring Wardhaven for this. How is the what currently will be the deck that I would be comfortable with? I think I watched if you know the Havencraft player from Japanese, yeah, I watched his video. I watched like the tips and trick on the mulligan. I do not copy the list directly though because he is way control-ish that way more than I like, and I was like, okay, I'll modify this a little bit, just a little bit, and I was like, okay, this is good. I'm gonna go with this. And that's a Wardhaven story.
And it worked out, dude.
And
Ours.
it
I just want to
worked
hear
out, oh my
also.
God.
I want to just hear about you as well, man. I mean, just introduce yourself to everyone watching. I mean, watching your plays and like the legendary process that you've made all the way to the finals. But tell us more about yourself. Like, what community do you come from? About your team and everything. You know, you're going all the way to World Grand Prix, so it's your chance to make some fans, man.
Okay. All right. Hi everyone. So yeah, I'm Ars21. Wait, what's first? Okay, so I'm from team IEV. That's the abbreviation for shout out for my teammate as well. Imagine epic victory. Also, IEV in IEV, I actually have one, at least one person that is like two. There are two people that are like Haven Master. I was like, thank you guys for giving me the convincing me to bring Wardhaven. And also I am what is it? We are the team from Indonesia. So yes, yeah, chat. We're from Indonesia.
Jago!
Hi, Jago. My goodness, yeah. And I think I also hold on. If I give a little bit of promotion, quote unquote here, I also stream, although I didn't stream Shadowverse that often now. I'm still streaming other games, but yeah, that the same username as in here. So yeah, if you guys want to see non-SV and sometimes SV, go check my channel. Yeah.
Good
I
stuff.
gotta
Well,
say,
you guys heard the man. Drop him
there
a
you
follow.
go. I mean, hey, if you ever stream in Shadowverse, you got to take the notepad out and learn something. You know, that's all I'm saying. I gotta say also, I won't keep you too much longer here because it is 3 a.m. and I'm sure you're tired after the whole day of competition.
Yeah.
But I will just say, hey, how do you feel going to Japan for World Grand Prix? I mean, you've been competing in Shadowverse for so long. I remember you back in 2020, SVO SEAO, coming in second place against Illumina that time, remember? And now
Yeah.
you're instead going all the way to World Grand Prix. How does it feel having come so far? And what are you going to, and like, how far do you want to take this in Japan?
Okay. Oh my God. Yeah. To be honest, this is still unbelievable because I was like, I wanted to competitive in this game, but I was like, what is it? Well, what do you call this? I'm not setting the goal too high, and but like just this tournament, I was like, oh, I actually have a shot at this with everyone. Well, with my pickup being good for the matchup, I was like, okay. I was actually, and I was, and it's still unbelievable that I still make it this far. For the I honestly still don't have any concrete plan for the how I like to approach the Japanese tournament, other than what is it? Other than I'm just gonna try my best, train, train train in my free time and all that stuff. But yeah. yeah,
Absolutely,
I think
man.
that's a plan. Yeah.
I'm
you so
super
much.
excited. It would be incredible to see an Indonesian in World Grand Prix take it all. So I'm rooting for you, man. Thank you so much for doing the interview. Congratulations once again for qualifying to
you.
World Grand Prix. Just
Seriously, man.
incredible. All right,
Absolutely
and
insane.
thank you so much. All right, guys, before we sign
Okay,
off here,
thank you.
we do want to remind y'all about the upcoming events happening. Like I said before, you had to head over to svo.gg to see what's upcoming here. But just next week, we have SVO Qualifier Series #1 that leads into the SVO Open Grand Finals, and then that leads to World Grand Prix. So this kickoff tournament is special in that it leads straight to World Grand Prix. The next 4 tournaments, Qualifier 1, Qualifier 2, Qualifier 3, and Qualifier 4, they culminate in Open Grand Finals, and then that leads to World Grand Prix. So, we're not just handing out tickets to World Grand Prix here, okay? This next one, you're going to have to really work for it. But that being said, I still hope you join us. Once again, that's svo.gg. Check out the details for Shadowverse Open Qualifier #1. The registration is open until... I think, until a couple hours from now, I think. So you can head over now.
Literally, you still got a couple hours to sign up. Time's running short, but you still got some
preliminaries on August 16th and then finals on August 17th. So in just a week, basically. Very, very soon. So if you missed your chance this time around, don't fret. There's more competition waiting ahead of you. But that being said, that's it for us today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I want to give a huge shout out to the production team who made this possible, as well as my co-caster, Different Fight over here, who's always a pleasure to work with. And I also want to thank you. I also want to give a huge shout out to the people in the chat who showed up, unthinkable numbers for a Shadowverse Open, and I love to see the momentum. Let's carry it forward all the way to World Grand Prix, baby. That being said, that's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
See you next week.